will be there. So we'll be going through detailed labs. So this complete training is around runs for 3 months, 3.5 months actually, because the course is lengthy. There are a lot of services that we need to learn. In cloud, it is very, very important that that we the thing that makes us expert in cloud is basically being an expert of the tools. So the tools that are provided within the cloud console. So there are three cloud technologies we'll be learning in this training, and basically at the end of this training, you'll be going through at least 150 tools. So so today, at the end of this training, we'll be making a cloud account. I'll be going into more detail. I'm just waiting for a few more people to join in because there were many requests from a lot of people. So I'm just waiting for a few more people, and I will start the session in a few minutes. Okay, everyone, let's begin. Basically, what we are learning today, everyone, this is 3-in-1 training, and so what we'll be learning in this training is cloud management. I think most of you are already aware of what cloud is, but since we will be starting from ground zero, so ground zero, I'm not gonna leave any details that is required. So you're already familiar with cloud technology. This will be a
Hello everyone, this is Imran.
Hey, we cannot
Hello.
hear the instructor. We cannot hear the instructor.
Put yourself on mute, please.
Can you hear me?
Okay. I think you guys can hear me now. Okay, very good. So this is a quick slide on, but it's not clear. There's an echo. Is there an echo, guys? Okay. So let me fix that as well. Okay, so there shouldn't be an echo now. There should be only one voice. So yes, please let me know whenever you feel any voice distortions, guys. This is an online training, and we do provide these trainings every now and then. Actually, every week there are trainings going on. So sometimes due to internet, sometimes due to our laptops, you might get voice distortion. Just let me know. I can try to fix it from my side. We'll work as a team. So there is for the audio. So based on our previous experience, for the training, you can use your laptop. You can use your laptop for the training. Just open the presentation within the laptop. And for the presentation, for the audio, it's better to dial from the phone, because it will be much better if you want to unmute yourself and then ask a question, because there will be a direct. There is a Canadian and US numbers available which you can use. So it will be a local. These will be local calls. So normally the background noise is due to people forget, or participants forget to mute their mic. Please mute your mic. I mean, we can take it. I don't want to mute everyone, because some people would like to ask questions, and all types of questions are welcome. But if you can mute your mic, that will basically reduce the background noise. And there is in the chat, you can just select any one of the options. So, and the screenshots. If you want to take a screenshot of the screen, so all you need to do on the presentation, there is a camera option. You can take a screenshot. You can send it to me. We will be creating a group for this, since we will be having this partnership. These training sessions going on for at least 3 months and 3.5 months, because 3 very important trainings we need to go through. So I will be requiring screenshots from you at the end of the lab session. So that is how I will know that you are completing the lab. So how to share the screenshot with the instructor? You can share it with on a WhatsApp group. So mostly WhatsApp group is fine to share these screenshots. Plus, if you're stuck in the lab. Plus, if you're stuck in the lab, then there is a way that you can share your screen as well. So you can share your screen right on the top where you can see these icons. You can just click on this icon and share your screen. I will accept the request, and then we can just troubleshoot quickly, and I'll let you know where you are stuck. Okay. So that is about quick housekeeping tips here. And so now let's start with so guys, welcome to this 3-in-1 training. In this 3-in-1 training, mostly these all sessions are interactive. I'll be very happy if you ask questions, so that sometimes when someone asks a question, this is kind of help to everyone else as well, because sometimes people are stuck with a concept. You can ask questions anytime. So in this training, we will be learning about the cloud technology. Number one, cloud technology we will be learning in detail, and from the cloud technology, the three trainings we will be going through is Azure, number one, and number two, AWS, and number three, GCP. All three are cloud giants at the moment, and all three are getting very famous. Actually, AWS being the pioneer, they started early in the market, and now they have the biggest share in the market for their cloud cloud services. And then Microsoft Azure is kind of a runner-up, and Microsoft Azure is very close. And nowadays, it's not even like first or second. Both are going head-to-head with each other with their different service offerings. For example, in infrastructure as a service, IaaS, infrastructure as a service, AWS is leading. But SaaS, now Microsoft is leading. So for the SaaS, software as a service, Microsoft is at the top. And this is not just me, my experience. No, this is Gartner report for 2020. For 2020, Gartner report says that Microsoft is software as a service. They are leading, and leading in what is a SaaS service? So I will be going into detail, but for a SaaS, as an example, Office 365. So we all know what Office 365 is. Not only large corporations are using Office 365, but also Office 365 licenses are now sold in kind of in retail as well. So normal individual, they are getting the Office 365 licenses as well. So Microsoft is leading on this, and also Microsoft is leading on Dynamics. So Dynamics, in which they provide around 23 different applications with their SaaS solution. So infrastructure as a service, AWS is still at the top. And we have also GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform. They are also, they started just now, a few years back, 6-7 years back, as compared to these other two big companies. But GCP is good in a sense, but they basically are on the top of much better than IBM, much better than HP and their cloud servicing, their cloud offering, and there are many other cloud technologies that they basically are leading from them. And what is the main goal why GCP is leading the market? Because of their Gmail services, because of their Gmail client. The number of clients any company has, this is where they can sell their services. So they had the biggest Gmail client. Microsoft had their desktops or Windows throughout the world. This is why they were kind of head-to-head with AWS. And AWS started with their Amazon and e-commerce services. Okay. So my quick introduction. Okay, what's happening here? So my quick introduction, my name is Adnan, and I am a cloud solutions architect for 7 years now, and overall 20 years of IT experience. So cloud solutions architect, so I've worked in Canada for 10 years, worked in Middle East for 7 years. I'm in Australia at the moment for a contract as well, but because of weather, I started liking it here. But other than that, cloud technology is exactly the same. Cloud technology is exactly the same throughout the world. Wherever you go, Microsoft Azure application, Microsoft Azure is exactly the same. AWS implementation is exactly the same. So I had the chance to work with Microsoft, with AWS as well. Not AWS as an employee, but I worked with Microsoft as an employee. and worked on different projects. Working with these cloud providers provide me an opportunity to work to basically get a lot of trainings with them, because on every new technology, number one. And number two, all types of cloud solutions. The solutions that Microsoft provides throughout the world is an art in itself, because the way they sell these companies, and then they basically implement those solutions. So work with Microsoft, work with some government organization. I'm also a certified trainer, Microsoft certified trainer for about 10 years now, and I like providing training. So I know those weak points. Weak points, not in terms of for learning weak points. So I can take you from zero to hero level. Zero to hero level. This is just my own sentence, but zero to hero level, meaning that if somebody is completely new to IT technology, I provide all those trainings, and there are many trainings that I've provided. I have a mix of experience, worked in AWS, so we will be going through all these different tools. So if you are familiar with cloud technology, so my question to everyone who is logged in, and you can reply that in the chat window, if you have any previous cloud experience. If you have any previous cloud experience, maybe in 2-3 words, you can type in the chat window. That what type of experience you have in the cloud technology. Have you worked on AWS? Maybe you can type just AWS. Maybe you can type Azure as well. So in Azure, I've worked on VMs. We will be working on VMs, cloud technologies. So I think today is the first day for this training. And I'm not getting the names of the students, so I'll just call them with your number. Viewer 16 is saying no cloud experience. Viewer 29 is saying AWS basic understanding, and viewer 20 is saying hi, none. Okay, hi, viewer number 20, viewer 2, V2. Okay, and okay, very good. So guys, don't worry, we will be going through basics in here. How difficult cloud technology is. Okay, so before that, cloud technology, for a cloud technology, it is important for a person who is a cloud, who is claiming to be a cloud expert. It is important for that person to understand the background services as well. The back end, sorry, not the background, back end services as well. So if you have a back end and services understanding, which means the servers that are running in the background, for example, you can be a web developer. You can be a web developer, and you might have worked on Apache server or on IAS server or Apache server, or maybe you might have worked in Exchange in the backend server, or maybe you might have worked on Active Directory. So that knowledge will definitely help you within the cloud technology. So one thing that we need to learn all these services. We need to learn what is a VM. We will be learning cloud services. We will be learning SQL, Redis, cache, and then blob storage, and then Azure. In AWS, we will be learning EC2, S3, and then all these different technologies. We will be learning all these different technologies, different tools. These are not very difficult to understand unless we understand the concept and the lab. So the two things are important, that we will need to learn concept, and then we need to complete the lab. So labs are very important in this. I've been working in server virtualization in the past, deployed, configured, installed, implemented with VMware, with HP, with Hyper-V, SCVMM, worked in System Center, worked in Active Directory, worked in Exchange, worked in Citrix deployments. So I can give you a full 360 view of these cloud technologies. 360 view of the cloud technology, right from the data center level to our cloud level. So data center to cloud level. So if you have any questions within this, I mean, this is a wide number of tools where you can come from any different experience. But at the end, we all need to become a cloud administrator / architect. Okay, so some of you have already replied back that which technologies have you worked in. So here I'm reading just the chat here. There is person with I have experience with AWS backup. Okay, viewer number 14. Viewer 20 is no cloud experience, and so viewer. So we have with I want to be a DevOps AWS. Yes. Okay. So I will be introducing these the DevOps as well, the DevOps technology as well. But DevOps we won't be going into detail here. DevOps is totally different certification. This certification is administrator and architect certification. But even becoming a DevOps expert, you need to still have at least Azure administrator or AWS associate experience or certification, because basically it all starts from becoming an associate or administrator in these technologies. So guys, since today is the first day of this training, so the way we run this training, so I would request everyone to be on time. We will start right at the time so normally I wait for like 3, 4 or 5 minutes. So in the first 15 minutes we review previous lesson. First 15 minutes we review previous lesson, and that 15 minutes is very, very important. Because we review every day previous lesson, it is very, very important because you might have questions from the previous class, and then you can ask those questions. So be on time. Secondly, do not miss any lecture. Each lecture is equal to a chapter. Each lecture will be equal to a chapter. Remember that these are 3-in-1 training, and in 3-in-1 training, each chapter will be a very important concept. So please do not miss any lecture. Recordings will be there. Yes, recording will be there, but recording cannot be a replacement of a lecture. Because in recording, you will get a recording of 3 to 4 hours recording. So this is, the training will run for 3 to 4 hours. But if you think that you can go through the recording later on and miss the lecture, guys, this will not happen. It will never happen. It never happens, because what happens is in the training we are engaged in a training, and I will be asking questions. We will be doing the labs and everything. But here, when you are listening to this recording, it is very, very, very difficult to listen to this 3 to 4 hours recording. We can watch a movie for 8 hours. I mean, in 8 hours, we can watch how many? 3 or 4 movies. But listening to the training is very difficult. So it's not. So I would request everyone to please do not miss any lecture. Number one, and then take notes as much as possible. So take notes as much as possible. This is actually not the only, but the effective way to attend these trainings. So effective way to attend the training in terms of that if you are taking notes while this going on, then basically your brain is engaged. Otherwise, we have a lot of distractions around us. I took online trainings as well. It is very easy to be very, very comfortable in the training, and being very, very comfortable is basically leads us to distraction. So I would request everyone to take notes. Today is the first lecture. Today is the first lecture since you have joined the training. So, and whoever will be joining the training in the next lecture as well. Guys, I take this training, as an instructor, I take this training very, very seriously. seriously in terms of that I'm spending time and you are spending time. You have expectations and I have expectations as well. I want each one of you to become an expert in cloud. And the only way you can become an expert in cloud, if you give me 100% or 110% 110% dedication, availability, not availability, okay, availability, high availability. We will be talking about availability in all these technologies, but I'm talking about dedication. And in terms of dedication, I need your notes at the end of the lecture. I need your notes. At the end of the lecture, you have to take notes either by pen or pencil, number one, or you can also type it in your Word document, however it is good for you. So I need to see your notes. And when you write something, basically it is registered in our brain. So we need to learn we need to use all of our learning senses. We are listening, number one. And then you will be writing as well. You will be taking notes, number two. Number three, we'll be having a discussions as well. So at the end of this lecture, in the end, like maybe 20 minutes before the end of the lecture, I will ask any one of you to explain any 3 points from the previous topic, and then this is how we can discuss. So listening, writing, discussing, and then lab practical. So we will be using all of our learning senses. So please take notes with this. Third is be ready for any surprise quizzes. So we will be doing the quizzes. Labs are very, very important. So computer field, this IT field, and I think some of you are already in this IT field. And actually taking the cloud training means that you are connected to IT field from one way or another. Computer is all practical. Computer is all practical. It is all practical, especially the field we are in. So maybe project managers might not need that much of practical. So project manager, PMs, they are not into this. Architects, on my level, I don't do much practical, but I do practical just for the sake of my own learning. So basically, architects, we design documents. And by designing document, meaning that we have to have a 360 view of the complete infrastructure, right from the desktop level to server level, then to application level, from application level, and so on, going on to the cloud. So, but as being on the practical side, computer is all practical. So labs are very important, guys. Labs are very, very important, and you need to take screenshot and send to the lecture at the end of each lab. So there are many labs in here. Without the lab, we won't be able to learn. That is very simple. So mid of the training, I will ask you to prepare the exam session. Okay. So I will share with you this sheet here. So this is the sheet that I prepare for my students to basically just to keep track and follow up with their certification progress. Here, this is the previous class name, and in the next lecture, I will take your names and write it here, and then you need to basically, in this training, we will target to finish this exam. Your target will be to finish this exam, and here we are going to put a date. For example, today is 29th. In here, but in Canada and US, I think you're still on 28th. So from 3 weeks from now, or 4 weeks from now, on let's say 25th, we can put a date here on 25th, and this we will decide in the next lecture. So 25th of September, you need to book for an exam. I mean, book now for this date, and in 4 weeks we will prepare for this exam and go for the exam. Now, why this is important, and actually before going on to why this is important, there is an exam for AWS, and then there is one exam for GCP, which is not here. I will put it on this. So this is a sheet that I will use. I will use this sheet for attendance as well. So today's attendance, you need to provide the names as well. Atif is asking a question, what if someone already has AWS? Bravo, excellent. This will be excellent. You don't need to go for 104 because you already have 103. Now, what I would suggest though for you, Atif, if somebody has 103, you can go for 300 or 301. Or 303 and 304. These are architect level exams. So if you already have administrator level certification, I would suggest actually to go for 300 or 301 exam. 300 and 301 exam is basically they are expiring. They are expiring in when they are expiring in September, I think. No, they are expiring this year. They are expiring. They were expiring back in June. Then they extended and extended. Just keeps on being extended. But you should go for 300 and 301 exams. Those are not easy exams, difficult exams, but go for those exams. Okay. So this is our. Okay, what's happening? There is something happening. Everyone is hearing this beep noise, I think. Okay, so it's gone. Okay, and okay, so this is our certification sheet. We need to seriously take this, guys. Without certification, no one is cloud admin. So just remember that. It's very simple. No one will take you on the cloud. No one would want you to touch their cloud without certification. This is now a standard within the market. Yes, unless small companies, medium-sized companies, they don't care. They just want their cloud environment to be managed. But large companies is where you can pay, they pay well. Viewer 8 is asking a question. Can we go for AZ 300 if you have AZ 900? Yes, 900 is fine. AZ 300, anyone can go for AZ 300, even if you don't have 103, 104, or you don't have a 900. 900 is, it's a foundation level exam, but if you have it, that is excellent. That is excellent. And viewer number 33 is saying, what's the difference between AZ 300, Azure Architect Technologies, and 301? Both are architect level exams. Viewer number 33. And so one is actually with both exams you will be able to you will get the certification called Azure Architect. So without one exam, if you just did 300, you're not an Azure architect. So one is the foundation of architecture, and second one is designing. And one is just a MCQ question. The second one has labs. So it has labs where you need to complete the lab. You need to complete, I think, around 30 tasks with 301 exam. In 301, they test you with practical. It's not only questions. So Atif asked a question, what happens if you do 300 and 301 series? You become if it retires. Once it retires, nothing happens. You're still an architect. You'll still be recognized as an architect. It's just that those exams are gone, and why I'm saying that you should take it, because there is a lot of help available around these exams. So there won't be any help available for newer exams. So just take advantage of now since they are not retired. Viewer 33 asked a question. We need to do the exam to be certified in architect. Yes, absolutely. So 3 things are required in order to become an architect. Number 1, the concepts. Number 2, the labs, which is hands-on experience. And number 3, certification. We will provide you help with the exam preparation as well. And then take the exam within 2 weeks of the course completion. So viewer 33 is saying that both exams, actually in order to become an architect, you need to take both exams. So let's understand this here. So AZ 104 is, once you complete this, you become Azure Administrator. So you become Azure Administrator. Okay. And so this is, I mean, this is required to get the job in the market. So if you take just this exam, that will be fine. That will be good for your start. And once you are in the market, once you are working as a contractor or a permanent employee for any organization, being an Azure administrator, then you can start thinking of going for 300 and 301. I won't advise anyone that if you're just starting in the cloud technology, do not go for these exams. These exams are not simple exams, especially, I mean, 300, both of them, there are scenarios where they want you to finish the lab. So basically you will be, without proper preparation, without proper experience. I would say if you work in any organization for AZ 104 for at least 6-7 months, then you should go for 300 and 301 exam. Yes, if you are an expert crammer, I mean, we are all expert crammers. I mean, being a crammer, we go for these exams. Sorry if I'm offending anyone. Guys, how we take these certification is all based on good memory. So if you have a very, very good memory, sharp memory, yes, you can go for these exams and you become an architect. That will be excellent. But I won't advise anyone to go for these first, because it's a lot of money that you will be using to buy these exams, and it's very difficult to buy them with zero cloud experience. Zero cloud experience, very difficult to clear them. Viewer 20 is saying, my understanding is there are different part of the cloud operations security development, and also which one we need to focus on. So for now, even if you want to become a cybersecurity expert, so nowadays a term that is very common is known as cybersecurity expert. Cybersecurity expert is an expert that is in the cloud technology. Actually, this cybersecurity admin or architect, everyone is architect. As soon as you are in the cloud technology, you become an architect. So cybersecurity expert or cybersecurity architect basically is a person that is basically that is a cloud security specialist. Okay, so my PowerPoint just failed on me, and I'm just starting that up, don't worry. So even if you become a cybersecurity expert or a DevOps expert, you still need to start from Azure Administrator. So Azure Administrator account. Okay, so now since be on time. Do not miss any lectures, everyone. Now we know that the certification is very, very important. Atif is asking a question. User 33. Yes, we need to pass both exams to be a solutions architect. Yes. 300 and 301, you need to go for both exam. So the class schedule, everyone, the class schedule is, every Friday evening. So this is every Friday evening and Saturday evening. So this is the class schedule. Let me write it here. There is another slide on this, but I'm going to write it here. So class schedule is Friday evening and Saturday evening from 6:30 to 10:30. So we'll try to finish the class within 3.5 hours, but most of the time we need 4 hours for these classes. This is EST, Eastern Standard Time, so you can match your time zone with this. Each course will run for anywhere from 5 weeks to 6 weeks. So we will try to finish the course training in 8 days for each. So 8 days for each training. So there is 5 weeks, so around 3.5 months, 4.5 months. And guys, trust me, these 3.5 or 4 months will run very, very quickly, because I've delivered these trainings before. Before you know it, it's finished. So because of I know everyone is busy, but this is the class schedule, guys. So the first training today we will be starting is Azure training. In Azure training, we will be going through each and every topic that is required for becoming a cloud administrator or architect. So starting from introduction to cloud, and then we will be going through Azure subscriptions, Azure compute, building blocks, VM implementation, VM backups and security, Azure storage and building blocks, and then implementing storage account via portal and PowerShell. We will be going through containers and working with containers and file shares and storage. We will be going through in detail networking. So being a cloud administrator or cloud architect, we are responsible for everything. I mean, this is why they introduced the term architect, because we are responsible for the compute, which is the servers. Compute is equal to servers. Number two, we are responsible for the storage. So you will be the person responsible for the storage. Storage meaning everything, the server storage and app storage and all types of storage that is used within this. And we will be responsible for the network as well. So being previously as compared to previously, which is previously meaning being a system admin or system engineer, or maybe the network architect or the network engineer, you were only responsible either for the servers or the network. This is in cloud, you are responsible for the servers, storage, and network. This is why they call you an architect. So here we will be going in depth of networking, in depth of implementing VNets. We have NSGs, which is network security group, application security groups, pairing with VNets. We will be going through app services. So you are responsible for the web services and app services, mobile services. So this is all we are going to cover. At the same time, we will be installing and working with the databases as well. So there is a lot of things that we need to cover. So, and in this we will try to take up as a project. We will start with because we will be actually migrating everything from the past institute. We will be taking it as a college, and the college is migrating to Azure. To add value towards this training, we will be carrying out a small project in line with the topics. So I will be guiding you from each project initiative, and we will be at the end. We will finish with Azure migration. So your question might be: would we be able to migrate a server directly from our computer to Azure? So except this part. We will be doing everything. So we will be setting up our Azure cloud. In the Azure cloud, we will be setting up servers. We will be setting up the applications. We will be setting up the web app as well. Then we will be setting up authentication with Active Directory. But the main migration that happens when we take the servers to the cloud, these are premium services. These are premium services where you need to have a proper setup on the data center side, so we won't be able to complete the full migration at the end, but I can provide you full documentation. If somebody is interested, I will provide you a documentation of migration, whoever will be able to finish with us all of the lab. So this course is for you. Azure is big. There is a lot of learning. No one can be an expert of everything. Even if you have an experience, you need to study to pass the test. If you have an interest, you can learn it. Some IT experience is handy. And don't worry, this is not very difficult. Instead, this is very interesting. So once you start working on the Cloud Console, you will see that you will see that it will be like Googling on internet. So I would say Googling on internet is very simple. Everyone knows how to Google on internet, and even in the cloud Azure portal. So these things are so connected in a soft manner. I mean, I'm trying to make it simple. I mean, creating a VM. So let's say you are creating a VM in Azure, and in Azure, they try to basically make it their complete portal a very user-friendly portal. So on one side, they made it user-friendly portal, which is easier to manage. All you need to go to the VM, and then you will add a new VM. It will ask you for a few questions, and then basically it will create a VM for you. It's created. And same goes for the web app. You want to create a website? Okay, no problem. You can create a website within this. All you need to do, find the web app services. Within app services, you can click add, and then it will ask you a few questions, and at the end, it will give you that website. So it's very user-friendly. But the thing is, we as an expert, you need to know how many moving components are there in the backend. This is why they need certified people, because making a VM, making one VM, it is connected back to the storage. It is connected to a disk on one side, and then it is also connected to a network. It is also connected to a network. That is the second component, and then it also has an OS on this. So basically these all components, I'm just giving you an example. So this is what we need to learn, how they are connected in the backend. I mean, creating a VM, creating a website, anyone can do that within the cloud. But it comes to the troubleshooting. When somebody is stuck, somebody is not able to troubleshoot and fix the issue. So viewer 14 is saying, I'm very interested in migration document. My friend, Mr. Viewer 14, yes, and I will provide it to you. For sure, I will provide it to you. But yes, if for the people who do understand that these documents are an asset. These documents are an asset. So if you have a migration document from anyone, that is basically an asset, and I have many. I've done many migrations. I have many. So in these trainings, the cloud management training, guys, I 100% know today is the first lecture, and we are sitting at home, today is the first lecture, and but it will be a bit difficult. It will be a bit difficult when you need to write notes. I know that it will become it will become difficult when you need to spend maybe 3 or 4 hours. So first of all, you spend 4 hours in this class, and then at least 3 to 4 hours at home completing the labs. This will be a bit on the uncomfortable side, because you have to complete the lab. I mean, without going into all this trouble, how can you become an expert in this technology? Because yes, there are a few simple labs, but there are some complex labs as well. So making a VM is simple, but making a scale set is a bit difficult. But it's not. I mean, it's not a rocket science. It's simple once you know the steps. So migration documents. I will provide you the migration document. Yes, but I will provide it to that person who will be able to complete all of the labs. So if you are connected in this training right till the end, and you are able to complete all of the labs, I have no problem providing you complete migration document. Actually, I will provide you a full lecture. I will give you a full step-by-step view of full migration from one data center to another. I will definitely. I will do that. Okay. So what is Azure, guys? Azure or AWS or GCP? All these cloud technologies, guys, these are rentable computing. These are all rentable computing. We are basically renting these computing services without upfront cost. So there is no upfront cost in this. View 23 is asking a question. What about the security of these VMs and websites? Do we need to take care of that too? Yes, as being an Azure administrator, so we are an Azure administrator or Azure architect. They call us architect as well. Yes, we are responsible. We are responsible for end-to-end services. By end-to-end means that we are not responsible for the DevOps portion. DevOps basically it's a portion for developers. So this is a programmer's place. This is a programmer's place, and so programmers and developer DevOps is that, but DevOps is nowadays paying as well. But end-to-end, by what I meant is from the server to the end user level, to the end user. So, for example, eBay.com. eBay.com is a huge big website, and they are big in Azure as well, and they have thousands of servers. So on one side we have end users who are using the eBay website, and in the background it's the complete Azure technology. So yes, you are responsible for security. So you are responsible for the complete infrastructure, the security, the networking. You are responsible for the networking. You are responsible for all aspects of Azure. So what is Azure, everyone? Azure is a rentable computing, which is without upfront cost. So that is basically the main reason. That is basically the huge big reason why companies are going into cloud market. So companies are going into cloud market because they don't have to spend capital. They don't have to spend capital. They don't have to spend dollars. Huge number of dollars. A huge capital amount in setting up their network. Let's take an example of a small medical center. Not a small clinic, but a small medical center. A small medical center with, let's say, with their clinics inside. With their clinics inside, and with their laboratories, their labs inside, with their pharmacy inside, a small medical center. A small medical center or medium-sized medical center might need, let's say, 20 servers to start with. If they are looking for 20 servers to start with, these 20 servers are not just 20 servers. With these 20 servers, they need to buy racks, and they need to buy maybe 2 racks or 3 racks, because there can be 5 or 6 servers in each rack, and then there will be routers and switches. So they need to buy servers. So what are we trying to understand, guys? We are trying to understand this point: rentable computing service without upfront cost. So for a medical center that need 20 servers, they need servers, they need switches. They need switches, they need routers, and then they need firewalls, and then they need basically they need storage. They need storage, and I'm just giving you a very high level view of complete architecture document. So servers, switches, routers, firewalls, storage. And then within the servers, they need operating system and so on. So this will all cost them for 20 servers within this small little data center. And other than that, so this is the infrastructure part, which is related to the application. But the other hardware part, so they need racks, and they need, other than racks, they need proper cooling system for these all servers. They need proper electricity, dual electricity, basically. They need the electricity as well. They need the UPS system in there, and they need physical security as well. And this will all cost them for 20 servers anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. So they're looking at maybe, I mean, even if they try to buy everything secondhand, they will end up spending at least $400K on this. And not only this, I'm talking about the data center. I'm talking about the data center. And not only this, there will be a monthly maintenance cost as well. So guys, 20 servers and all this for a medical center. On the other side, they can just go and get a Azure subscription. On the other side, they can just go and get an Azure subscription. And how much it would charge them? For 20 servers and each server $200 per server, depending on whatever server they are getting. So $200 per server will be anywhere from maybe they can start from in hand 30,000 or 40,000. 30 or 40,000 in hand, and they can start their complete data center. They don't need to worry about racks, cooling system, electricity, UPS, and all that. They don't need to worry about all this. They just need to rent the server and start using them. And guys, this is, I mean, what I am saying at the moment. This is how we developed, how I architected and worked with these companies. And I mean, this point is already proven. This point is already proven in the market that companies are saving in millions, and large companies are saving in billions. For the banking, I'm talking about the banks, the big banks. They are in Azure, they are in AWS, they are in GCP, and they're saving a huge amount. So what they do, they just rent these services. Now you might think that renting is, they are just renting it, and then how long they can rent for. Guys, they rent, some of the companies go month by month for renting, month by month, and some go by years. So if a company, if this medical center leases the server for 3 years, this will become very, very cheap for them. I mean, a $200 per month can be changed into $40 a month. $40 a month for 3 years term. And most of the large companies, they go with 3 years term. Okay. Excuse me. So viewer 23 asked the question for how long they keep the same renting charges for each subscription. Their charges, their renting charges is fixed. So they don't make any changes without letting the customer know. So let's say for today I got a server for, let's say, $104 per month per month based on my server specifications. Based on so how do they calculate this 104? I can show you the calculator as well in a shortly. But this cost for me is fixed. So they won't change it, but let's say tomorrow they have a different price for this server for another customer, they will give them the different price, but for me it is fixed. So they won't change it based on my subscription, based on my contract. Okay. And the second question from from the viewer for So second question from viewer 14, how much is the cost of Azure standard web server per month? Yes, I will show you that costing calculator, viewer 14 shortly. I will go through that. There is a cost, I mean, different cost for different type of servers, because it's not only the service. It's not only the service, it's the CPU and the networking, it's the disk that you're getting with the server as well. Okay. So what is Azure? It is still called number 2 platform behind AWS. Yes, it is in terms of infrastructure as a service. It is AWS, and Azure has caught up in many ways. And I've already mentioned that SaaS is a solution that is Microsoft Azure Microsoft-based solution. Viewer 8 is asking a question, will there be a break in between the classes? Yes, there will be 2 breaks within the classes. We'll try to take actually 1 break, but depending on, we take a break in 1 hour. So for now it is, what is the time now? So it is 7:33. We will take a break at around 8:15. That will be 2 hours. So let me know, guys. Let me know whenever, I mean, you feel exhausted in this, and we will try the lab. We will try changing gears as well, just to make it kind of more interactive. So there will be a break. 8:15 will be okay. Okay, that's good. So features and sales and contracts. So this is, I mean, okay. So about the certification, everyone. Certification starts from fundamentals. This is AZ 900 certification, which I won't recommend going for because there is no need to go for this certification. And this one is 104 certification, AZ 104. This is where I want you to start. And this is Azure 300, AZ 300 and 301 certification. Okay. So okay, we are 16. It's fine. We can, for today. Yes, we can take a break a bit earlier for 15 minutes. Okay. And here, guys, we have AZ 900, AZ 10. So no need to go for this. So our stop will be this Azure 104 certification. So what is the cloud technology, guys? The cloud technology is the ability to rent computing resources available for your use with minutes, and only pay for what you use, and that the cost will be in pennies. So, guys, this is exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing how we use these services, how we rent. I mean, long time back, we used to rent movies. We used to rent movies, and for movies we have to go to a shop, and that is basically long time back, and maybe the new generation might not even experienced, maybe might not even have experienced that. For movies, there used to be stores and all that, and now everything is in cloud. Now everything is Netflix. So how easy is Netflix for us, and why Netflix is famous? Because it's all in cloud. All you need to do, you're sitting at home, you're just clicking it and just renting a movie, or you're renting a movie and you're watching it, and that's it. And they made it even much better by giving us that ability to basically get a subscription for $8 or maybe $10, depending on different areas. And then you can just give them a subscription. So this is how you got the subscription. So you have that subscription, and now you can watch anything. And this is a cloud. This is all in cloud. Netflix is all in cloud, based on, I think they're on AWS cloud. And so, guys, this is exactly the same thing for this cloud as well. Well, this is why companies are moving into cloud now. So there are a few things to understand going into the cloud market, going into this understanding, and that is number one. So I'm going to get my whiteboard here. So whiteboard is right here. Okay, so okay, just a second, everyone. Guys, I have to reset this for a second. Just give me 2 minutes on this. Okay, so let me just. Okay, so something wrong with this PowerPoint. That is strange. Okay, just a second, everyone. Sorry about that. Everyone, I think I have to restart my computer. It never happened before. So just give me 5 minutes. Let's take a 5 minutes break, everyone. So in 5 minutes, I will be restarting this computer and will be joining the meeting. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. So this is a 5 minutes break. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay. No, I think it's starting up now. Yeah, it's logged in. No, it's not okay. Just the PowerPoint? Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Bye. Hello everyone, I'm back. Sorry about the disturbance. So hopefully this presentation will go smoothly. So we'll start from where we have left. I hope everyone is back from the break. So let's start with understanding the cloud concepts here, guys. There are a few things that we need to understand. There are three cloud models. The session is being recorded as well. So if you have any questions, anyone at any point in time, just let me know. There is a chat window on the side as well where you can ask a question. If there is any voice distortion, just let me know. We have Amin Bhai here as well, who is our training manager. He will be looking at the chat as well. So if you have any problems, just let us know. Okay. So there are three cloud. So now starting with the cloud understanding here, and let me bring the whiteboard here. So today is 28th August. So I will be providing you these whiteboards as well. For the cloud, we need to understand. For the cloud, we need to understand three things here. There are three cloud models, and then there are three cloud packages that all companies are offering. So as a cloud architect, we have to have a very good idea of this. So what we are learning now is cloud, and there are three cloud types. So we can say there is something called a public cloud, then there is a private cloud, and then there is a hybrid cloud. There is hybrid cloud. Now public cloud is basically a cloud offering. So first of all, in order to understand this, what is a cloud? Cloud is a data center owned by, first of all, it's a huge big data center. It's nothing but a huge big data center owned by Microsoft or Amazon, which is AWS services, and Google GCP. So they have their huge big data centers, so these data centers are equipped with everything that is required, all of the equipment that is required for to host a server, to host the networking equipment. So the clients, these companies, so for example, telecom client as Rogers Telecom, or large IT companies as Dell, or maybe big hospitals, or maybe government organization. So government organization, they all have their infrastructure. They all have servers. They all have networking equipment. They all have different type of storages. So they all have they have servers too. They have storage. They have switches. They have routers. So these all organizations have all these different equipment. So now, if Microsoft, Amazon, or GCP, Google data centers, if all of the Rogers equipment is inside their cloud, so we call them cloud. We call them cloud. So this is a cloud, but actually they are data centers. So if Roger is hosting all their infrastructure within the cloud, and Rogers as a company is depending on Microsoft for their complete infrastructure, this is said to be a public cloud. So we can say that Rogers infrastructure is in cloud. So public cloud offerings simply means that public cloud simply means that the company is hosting everything within the cloud. The second type of the same is, which is right here. We have to remove this. So second type, which is private cloud. A private cloud offering is that when a company has a cloud in their own infrastructure. Private cloud. Private cloud meaning the company that you're working for. Let's take an example of Bell Canada. Bell Canada being a telecom company in Canada, and it's a national carrier where they have huge data centers across the country. They have many data centers across the country. Now within a data center, so a place that is known as a data center. Now, what is a data center looks like? So for the people who are new to this technology, so data center. So data centers are places like these. So if you have never seen a data center before, data centers are places like this where you have racks, and within the racks there are servers, and right here you can see. So you have a lot of things here. So data centers are made like this. There are networking equipment, there are servers, there are switches, there are firewalls, and there are dedicated people who are responsible to manage all these data centers. So data center, I will take a picture of this and put it inside. Let's take which picture? Let's take this picture. So guys, what are we trying to understand? We are trying to understand the cloud technology. So cloud has three different offerings here. Number one, that is known as public cloud. Public cloud meaning everything is hosted with the cloud provider. Secondly, a private cloud. A private cloud is when you have a private cloud inside the company's own data center. Now, what is the meaning of that? So if a company has a data center, why would they need a private cloud? Guys, sometimes they need to use the cloud features, but they don't want to move their servers out or to another vendor. For example, private clouds are used by most of the government organizations. Government organizations basically host their basically they have two types of servers in their data center. There are servers that they are allowed to host on a public cloud. So there are servers that they can host with Microsoft, or they can host with AWS services or Google, but there are servers that have such sensitive information where they can host only within their own data center. So for that, Microsoft and AWS, they do provide private cloud in their own data center. So this is known as private cloud offering. Private cloud offering. Now, why would it be private cloud offering? So your question might be Azure. Azure can offer both. Azure also provides private cloud, and they also provide a public cloud as well. So how do they provide a public cloud? With the services like Azure Stack. If you've ever heard of Azure Stack, with the services like Azure Stack is an example of private cloud. So instead of providing instead of taking the government servers to Microsoft, which might be located somewhere else in the world, what they do, they provide a complete private cloud within the company data center. In Azure Stack, they provide a complete rack. And in the rack, they have their server, their switches, their fabric, and everything within this rack, and they call this a Azure Stack. So this is a private cloud. And the third type of offering within the cloud is hybrid cloud. And hybrid cloud is very simple. And hybrid cloud is a combination of a public cloud and a private cloud. Viewer 41 is saying the offer for the Gov, there is a Gov cloud as well. Yes, but the Gov cloud is a subscription, and the Gov cloud is not a private cloud, it's a public cloud. within the security parameters. So viewer 41 said that there is a gov option in the there is a gov subscription for within the cloud offering as well. Okay, so here let me jump back to our slide here. So public cloud is when the company has their complete servers hosted with the client with Microsoft, and private cloud is when the cloud is available within the company, when the cloud is hosted within the organization. And I've given you an example that some information from some organizations, they don't want it to be shared with any public cloud provider. Now, so that raises another question in your mind, and that raises another question when you go for an interview, that is public cloud safe? Is Microsoft Azure safe, or is AWS safe for these organizations? Yes, guys, it is completely safe. It is completely safe for these organizations, because they provide top-notch security, not in terms of only hardware. They also provide encrypted services as well. So they provide top-notch security for the information that is in the cloud. Now, then your question is, then what is the reason why companies still need a private cloud? Because, guys, private cloud is required in government organization, or maybe in a banking sector, because they have their own regulations. So I'll give you an example in Middle East. So I just finished a project in Middle East, and they half of their servers were with Microsoft Azure, and half of the servers were sitting within the local data center with Azure Stack. And then there is HCI cloud offering. So there are many different options, but half of their servers were inside the private cloud, because of the government regulations. They cannot move their information out, and this happens normally with other cloud providers, with the hospitals as well, where they don't want to share their medical records, sensitive information with anyone. It's their regulation. This is why they cannot move into public cloud. So what is the hybrid cloud? The third option is hybrid cloud. When the public cloud is connected to private cloud, that is known as hybrid cloud. So if the company that I just gave you an example that I work for, their 300 servers are with Microsoft. 300 servers are with Microsoft, and they have their 200 servers in their own private cloud. This is known as hybrid cloud connection. So guys, how many cloud models are there? There are 3 cloud models. Number 1 is public cloud, second one is private cloud, and third one is hybrid cloud. So viewer 41 is saying poor question. First of all, viewer 41, there is no such thing as poor question. What will happen if AWS or other cloud provider disappear from the business? Who would control them, like bank controller by FDA? So first of all questions are welcomed. There is no such thing as poor or intelligent question. This is a very valid question that is normally being asked. This is a very valid question that is normally being asked when companies jump into a cloud. And so questions like, I'm an architect, so I face these questions with the clients, and they ask many questions. So what if the cloud is not saved? What if the information is breached? What if this and what if that? And one of the what if is what if the AWS completely is gone, and then Azure is gone? So guys, if that time comes when AWS is gone, then you can think of that will be the end of the technology. Why? Because you can see most of Fortune 500 companies are in cloud. Most of Fortune 1000 companies are in cloud as well. So I mean, these companies are huge with their billions and billions of dollars invested in cloud market. So viewer 20 is asking okay, so if I've answered the question. I mean, their cloud, I mean, there was Okay, so yes, I will. Shakil is saying he needs to ask a question. I will open a mic. Yes, guys, I'm about to open a mic. So please, everyone requested that please keep your mic on mute if you don't have a question, and I will take that question. So, so replying back to first viewer 41 question, viewer 41's question, what if AWS is out of the market? First of all, it won't be out of the market, but the second, the logical reason, because it cannot be out of the market because they've already invested billions of dollars and there is redundancy within the cloud. So everything is redundant. And in a moment, I will show you that they have regions, they have availability zones. Each region cover each other regions, and there are data centers. There are multiple data centers within the city, so they have covered it a lot. They have covered it a lot. Okay. So, Shakil, if you want to ask a question. The mic is unmuted, so Shakil can ask a question. Okay, Shakil, you can ask a question whenever you are ready. Viewer 20 asked a question. So in private cloud, can there be three services, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS? Yes, yes, all three services can be there within private cloud as well. So so guys, swiftly moving on. So what we discussed, three cloud models: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Next is the three packages that the cloud is being provided. There
Okay,
are three
brother,
packages. Yes, go
can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so the question is when we talk about the private cloud, is it all the hardware infrastructure sitting in the like in our premises, or it is like still we are renting the place and we are making them define it as a private cloud?
Yes. So private cloud simply means that all of the infrastructure is sitting in your in on-premises data center, physical data center, your company's data center. Nothing
Okay,
in on Microsoft data center.
okay, that was the question.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, very good. So guys, there are three cloud models we need to remember: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. I'm sure that we are taking notes as well.
excuse
Guys,
me.
there are three packages that are being offered within the cloud that is known as IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So, I mean, this is exactly like this is premium service, silver service, or gold service. I will basically, I think some of the mics are not muted, so I will selectively mute few mics. Okay, okay, good. Thank you, everyone. If you can keep your mic muted. My mic is not muted, so I'm just trying to find. Okay, good. Thank you. So guys, three packages that is offer: infrastructure as a service and cloud as a service. And before going into this slide, I will show you a quick metaphor for understanding infrastructure as a service and a platform as a service or a software as a service. It is exactly like basically uh, it is exactly like getting an apartment. So if you get an apartment that is without any appliances, if you get an apartment, an empty apartment, this will be like getting a infrastructure as a service, in which you are getting the infrastructure but not but not the additional services. And platform as a service is getting a semi-furnished apartment where you get the appliances as well and also get the apartment. So PaaS is like platform as a service is like a semi-furnished apartment, and PaaS and SaaS, which is software as a service, is exactly like a fully furnished apartment. So this will be an example of SaaS. This will be an example of PaaS, and this will be an example of IaaS. Now, keeping this in mind, let's look at this slide. Let's look at this slide here. So in a data center, so viewer 44's mic is open, and I will mute the mic. Viewer 22 mic is open. You guys can ask a question anytime.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add the follow-up with what Shakil has just.
Right. Sorry, I cannot hear you. Can you repeat that? Okay, I think I'll open that again. We will go for a break of 10 minutes.
So,
So,
can I?
yes. Yes, please
So
go ahead.
I just want to follow up what Shakil has asked as a private one, private cloud, that as PaaS and SaaS, right? There are the three services. In private,
Right.
all those three services are there in-house or only infrastructure or is it in-house, like a software and application or other things or in the Microsoft or AWS or cloud place.
Right. Okay, so I'll repeat the question, guys. Everyone, the question is, and we'll take a break right after that, that in a private cloud, can we have all three cloud offerings, infrastructure, PaaS, and SaaS? So in a private cloud, you can have all three of them, provided that if you have all these facilities available within a private cloud. So which means basically in a private cloud, so how do you make a private cloud? In a private cloud, basically you need to make your own infrastructure, your own cloud offering. So basically you need to buy a complete rack, which is Azure Stack or maybe HCI cloud implementation. And I will go into more detail what HCI is later. So if this infrastructure that you bought from or you leased from Microsoft as a private cloud, if this infrastructure, if it has resources, you can also have a SaaS as well, and platform as a service and infrastructure as a service, all three of them within the private cloud. But based on my experience, yes, you can have IaaS on this private cloud. You can also have PaaS in this private cloud, but for SaaS, you need a bigger infrastructure. So you will that company has to spend more within their private cloud to have SaaS in their infrastructure. So most of the time in private cloud, you will get either IaaS or PaaS. SaaS is mostly from the is taken from the public cloud. Okay. Um, okay. So guys, it is 8:10 right now. So let's take a 15 minutes break here just for today. Normally it will be 10 minutes break. Let's take a 15 minutes break here. 15 minutes is fine, or 10 minutes is fine. Okay. Everyone, this is 15 minutes break. In 15 minutes break, we will start again. Okay, guys, we'll see you after the break.
Hello, Adnan. If you're available, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I don't want to disturb you. I can, since I'm not in the different time zone, so I'll go ahead and open that. So can I ask something?
Yes, please ask a question. It's fine. You can ask a question.
Like you just already explained it very clearly that what I was stuck on is the all three services, but I said that is not possible. Like you earlier, you mentioned that you have to get
Hold on. You know, your voice is breaking up and I'm not able to understand the question. If you can talk slow, I think that will be good, or maybe close to the mic.
just the certification that AAS can be in-house for any company if you want to take a private cloud. But for the SaaS AAS, they have to go through the whoever, Azure or AWS or cloud.
Right.
Okay. And then the payment and everything is going to be different on that.
Yes. So what is the reason why am I saying that SaaS needs to go through a public cloud? I'm not saying that SaaS is not possible. SaaS is definitely possible in private cloud, but it will be very, very expensive for that organization to keep SaaS in a private cloud, because then they have to invest a lot. Now, the reason why they are having a private cloud, because there is some information that they cannot take it to Microsoft or AWS. So most of the
Right.
time, private clouds are only for a specific scenario, not for Office 365 type of application. And Office 365 is more cheaper getting from the public cloud instead of keeping it in the on premises.
Right. Okay, I think I got it. Thank you for taking
Okay, you're most welcome.
explaining.
So guys, anyone has any questions? Mic is open. You can ask a question for the people who are new to the cloud technology. I can say that it's very simple. It's just that you need to just know the concepts and you know where to configure something within the cloud. So once you are an expert of Azure cloud, you can easily become an expert of AWS and Google Cloud Platform as well, because these are all almost the same services, just the technologies and names are different. So, and since we will be doing a lot of labs in this, I'm sure that at the end of 3 months, inshallah, you all will become an expert in cloud, because there are basically a lot of labs in this. And today we will be creating an account in Azure.
Assalamu alaikum. Adnan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You didn't take a break? Oh my God.
Sorry, what?
Okay. You didn't take a break yourself?
No. I'm still here. So I'm just waiting for 4 more minutes to go. If you have a question, you can ask.
Okay. So once we finish all these three, at least I think we can get job, at least one of them somewhere. What we expect in terms of pay, the minimum.
Uh, yes. So, what's your name? Can I get your name,
Riyaz.
please?
Riyaz.
Riaz. So that depends on if you have. Do you have any experience with the servers previously?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is these three trainings, but you still need to have the servers experience as well. So servers experience, which means that you need to at least get, there is one exam for 740. Once you complete that one training, at least that one, actually those are three trainings, but if you take this so cloud training plus a servers training, and then you should be able to start anywhere from let's say $35 an hour and above. And this is just a start. And then, I mean, I'm just trying to get a realistic, yeah, minimum at least $35 an hour and above. And plus, if you have a server's experience too, then you can start from $50 an hour and above.
Okay. And then how I'm going to come up with the experience when it comes to this once I finish this course with you and get the certification for all three or at least two? What about my experience?
Right. Yes. So Riaz, what happens is in IT, so first of all, there is a real experience and then there is a resume experience. Okay. For the real experience, we will take care of the real experience within these labs. So everything that we will be doing here, that will give you at least a 2 years worth of experience, because we will be doing. So if somebody is honestly completing all of the labs, and I do follow up kind of religiously to that everyone completes a lab. So if you are able to complete all of the lab, that will give you'll be very comfortable on the floor when you're at the job. But on the resume, definitely we need to show some experience as well.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Okay, but I will help you. I mean, don't worry. At the end, we will work on the resume and we will work with for the interviews as well. So this is all the way I am with you.
Okay, sure, no problem. No, I will get into, because my background is something else, so I'm jumping in totally different. So
what is your background? Is it technical or
no,
financial?
I come from sourcing, procurement, purchasing, operation side.
Okay.
So I was actually going to go learn CRM and ERP, but then I got your advertisement. Somebody sent message. I got this, send it to me, and I'm like,
right. It's good that you never went for CRM and ERP, because it will be a bit difficult. It will be the market is not very good on that side if you're not an expert. With the cloud technology and the servers, even if you have not an expert level experience, but a mid level of experience, that will work for you as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Well,
it's not 35. At least I can start somewhere for first project for 25, even 30 also, I hope.
It doesn't work that way in this. Why? Because anyone who would let you work on their cloud, they are basically anywhere from mid to large size companies. Small companies, they don't have this. And so this is why I'm saying at least whoever will get a cloud admin job with this certification, you will easily start with 35 and above, even $40 an hour. Because I mean, there is no such thing as $20 or 25 for a cloud admin.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, excellent, guys. So everyone, the break is over, and we will be. So today is the first day, and we are a bit on the lenient side. I mean, we're a bit on the what do you call? Not a very on strict schedule, but from the next lecture, from tomorrow's lecture, we will be on the sticking with our schedule. Why? Because there is a lot of information to cover. So I hope everyone is back after the break. Everyone is back after the break. So after the break, we will have an attendance as well. Please type yes in the chat window if you're available. So viewer 41 asked the question, what will happen about the hardware manufacturer companies if one depend on renting the cloud? Hardware manufacturer companies. So the answer to this question is viewer 41. It's very simple. Those all hardware manufacturing companies are now selling to Microsoft and AWS. Because they have huge big data centers. Their data centers, and this is where they are investing billions. So those hardware manufacturing companies are getting rich as well. So you do need hardware. Okay, so good question. So guys, here I got the yes from only three of the participants. Okay, a few of the participants. Please type yes in the chat window if you're present. Okay. So guys, in order to become a cloud admin, becoming a cloud admin is not very difficult, but it needs a dedicated effort. So we were just before the break, we went into a quick cloud introduction, and then we started with understanding cloud. And there are three cloud models that we discussed. Number one, public cloud, private cloud, and a hybrid cloud. And now we are at different cloud offerings. So there are three different packages that when a new company, ABC company, is going into a cloud. So ABC company has a data center with 300 servers, and they have a on-premises data center, and they are basically now trying to go into to Microsoft. So when they go to Microsoft will offer them three types of services. Most of the time, all the companies start with infrastructure as a service. So all of the companies start with infrastructure as a service, and what is the infrastructure as a service? Infrastructure as a service is, as you can see, the red line. Their complete network is made up of these servers. So a complete physical data center will have networking, storage, server, virtualization, operating system, middleware, runtime, data, and application. This is what makes a data center. But when they buy a service of infrastructure as a service, then Microsoft will be responsible for networking, storage, server, and virtualization, whereas you are responsible for all these other offerings. This is exactly like you're just getting an apartment without furniture. This is exactly like, so basically the apartment taking care of the apartment is owner's responsibility, whereas your responsibility is to take care of all of the furniture and everything. So this is known as infrastructure as a service, whereas half of the services is cloud provider's responsibility and half is your responsibility. Platform as a service, you can see the red part here is increased. So most of the services responsibility is Microsoft responsibility, whereas just two of the services are your responsibility, which is you will take care of your own application and data. Otherwise, Microsoft is responsible for operating system license. They are responsible for hardware of the servers. They are responsible for the networking, security, and everything. And the last one is software as a service, where you're getting the complete service from Microsoft. So it is Office 365, Intune, and CRM solutions. There are Dynamics. So all these this company or your company will enjoy the application or the business part of the application, whereas the underlying application, the backend application, databases, operating system is all the vendor's responsibility. So obviously SaaS solution will be more expensive. So this will be more expensive as compared to PaaS solutions. So here you will have to pay less, but then you will have to basically manage your own services. And here you in infrastructure as a service, you pay even less, but you have to take care of all the other stuff within this. So Viewer 47 has a question. This terminology of services, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, is same across all the other cloud providers? Yes, very good question. Yes, this is same as all the cloud providers. So even the cloud models, which is private cloud and public cloud, and then hybrid cloud. This is common for all cloud providers, and these packages, I would call them packages. They call it cloud computing. They call it cloud computing services or cloud services. Why I call them packages? Because it is easier to understand. You go to an auto insurance company, they give you a full insurance, comprehensive insurance, third-party insurance, and different packages and different features. This is nothing but different packages and different features. Okay, and the metaphor that we understood about IaaS is you get an empty apartment. Apartment is the owner's responsibility, whereas semi-furnished apartment is a PaaS solution, which is they are providing you some appliances and the apartment, and in SaaS they are providing you fully furnished apartment. So so these are the three things that is being offered. This is on this slide. You also have, so this is a traditional traditional data center on this side. This is a traditional data center where your company is responsible for everything. Then we have co-location. So this is kind of a cloud the cloud you can say this is it is evaluation. It's not evaluation. It is the cloud started from, where the cloud started from. So correct me if I'm wrong here, guys. Here. So here, this is the physical data center, and in the beginning they started with co-location. In the beginning, they started with co-location, in which vendor used to just handle a piece of their data center, where most of the services were managed by the company itself. So this is ABC company's data center, and the ABC company's data center, most of the data centers handled by ABC company, and just this data center part was being managed by a vendor. And then that changed to hosting model. In the hosting model, their physical server networking and data center was being managed by a vendor, and then rest of this being managed by the company itself. So, and now this is all converted into IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. This was the older data center model. This is the newer cloud offering model. Okay, so Gartner report that I mentioned earlier, these are Gartner reports. So if you are not aware of this, Gartner is a company, a huge big company. They basically generate reports. They produce statistical reports for different applications and organizations. So this was based on 2017, but there is the latest reports as well. AWS is still on the top as being cloud. Okay, so I thought if someone has a question, if you don't have a question, I would request you please put your mic on mute. So another slide with Azure has a significant advances over the year, and it now offers a set of features and capabilities, and these are all of the offerings. So we will go through this. We have discussed this in a bit as well. This is a book definition of Azure. Microsoft Azure is a growing collection of integrated cloud services which developers and IT professionals use to build, deploy, and manage applications. So a simple question: what is a cloud technology? Cloud technology is nothing but a data center, an operating system. So we need to become an expert. Of this operating system. So if you want to become a cloud admin, you need to become an expert of this complete console. So the console that we seen. So we need to. This is what is known as Azure Cloud Portal. So guys, everyone, I want you to go to this website. Just search for Google, everyone. So just go for Azure. So you won't be able to log into this portal at the moment. Why? Because you don't have an account. But for now, I want you to go to this portal here. Just type Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure free account. Microsoft Azure free account. Yes. So if you go to this here, it will. So if you're there, just type in the chat window. You're on this website, guys. In order to attend this training, I would strongly recommend that you have two screens. One screen for your laptop screen for the presentation, and the second screen you keep it for the labs. It will be much easier for you. So for that, so go to this screen, go to this website, Microsoft Azure free account, and in this, so there is this ad here. This is an ad website as well. You can directly go on to create your Azure free account today. So you can go on to this, and on this it will say start free. So here you will be creating your account for, and they're saying that get started with 12 months of free services. Guys, the thing is, based on my experience, this statement of Microsoft is not 100% true, because these services are not completely free. So what happens is that they will give you a free account for 30 days, and after 30 days they will start charging your card if you accidentally leave any service on. And plus, what happens is that so you will create an account, and then they will give you an account to use the portal. You can do anything within the portal within 30 days, and that will be fine. After that, it will be pay as you go. It will be pay as you go from there on, and which means that whichever services you use, they will charge based on whatever charges of that service is. So for now, what we need to do is, for now, we can create our first account. So in order to create an account, you can start free here. So you can try to just sign up within this account. Okay, so since I already have an account, you can just try on your own and create an account. I will provide you lab at the end, but here I just wanted to show you this portal. So the portal is that where you can go here and start free. Okay, so if you're not able to do that at the moment, it's fine. You can do that at home as well. I will provide you step-by-step instructions. Okay, so going back to our presentation, everyone. So this diagram here it's a Microsoft massive data center in Dublin, which is Ireland. And this is the type of data center that Microsoft and Azure and AWS are having. So these are huge, big data centers with servers, with cooling system, with everything inside that is required. And they created the data center where they host companies' servers, their client servers. So here, this is another diagram showing Microsoft data centers, which is basically they make the data centers energy efficient, and the inside of the data center are state of the art. They use equipment, and they use billions of dollars to store this information, to keep the data, to keep all of this data safe from different all types of disasters. This data is safe within these data centers. Nowadays, the newer technology is that they're keeping data center within underwater as well. This is also, they say that they have these data centers. I mean, these data centers are close to those places where where they cannot have physical data centers. So they make these capsule type of data center, and inside the capsule it's like this. So here so inside the capsule they have racks. Within the racks they have servers, and this is all connected to their backbone. So this is another type of Microsoft data center as well. Now so Microsoft Azure is ever expanding set of cloud services to help you meet your business challenges. Over 100 end-to-end services Microsoft Azure provides, and 54 global Azure regions, and over 70 compliance offering, and 90% of Fortune 500 companies are using Microsoft cloud, and typically cloud computing services will be charged per use. Okay. So now, before we can start understanding the complete architecture, let's compare this to whatever we know about. We can compare it to the service that we are already using. So, for example, what we are trying to now learn here is, guys, we need to become a Azure expert, Microsoft Azure expert. So Microsoft Azure expert, which means that you need to become a cloud expert. which in other words, it means that you will be basically managing the cloud. You will be managing the infrastructure of some of the other companies. So basically, it will be like this. Microsoft has a data center. That data center is considered, so that data center has servers, it has their networking, it has their routers, their switches and firewalls. So I call this a data center, and this data center is being offered as a cloud to the world. And so for an end user, company, this cloud is referred, basically it is a data center. So now that we have established this understanding that we will be working on a data center, for an end user, it is a cloud technology. So now what we need to understand, what are the parts that make up this data center? So as being an admin, what services we need to be, an expert of. So this will be exactly like, let's say we get a smartphone. So we get a smartphone, and smartphone can be iPhone, or it can be a Samsung, or it can be any other company, Huawei. But basically, so when you get a smartphone, you are the admin of this phone. So basically, you are the admin of this phone, in which you are responsible for basically logging in every day. So every day we log in either by PIN number, or either by our fingerprint, or maybe a face expression. So there are many ways to log in. We use a PIN, we use a fingerprint, or we use facial expression. So face recognition is there too. So either one of them authenticates us. So this is the first thing that we know about a smartphone. So and then the second thing is that in a smartphone there are different applications. So application, where do you get application? You get it from the App Store. You get it from the App Store within Android, and in iPhone you get it from the Apple Store. So I think that is known as, I don't use iPhone, but I think this is Apple Store. So Apple Store, and then from there you can install the application. And we already know that. Other than that, what else do we know about the smartphone? Other than that, we also know about a smartphone that there are settings. There are different type of settings within the smartphone. What type of setting? We have display settings. You can set a display timer out for 10 seconds, 5 seconds. You also have different type of settings are there. So guys, how much time did it took you to become an expert of a smartphone? I think not more than maybe few days, within few days, or sometimes in few hours. And this is how easy, basically easy this technology is. This is how easy this technology is, where you can okay, so it's gone. I have to reinstall. I will reinstall this tonight. And so here, so what we were learning about a smart, so guys, this is exactly, so that is the example that I gave you. That is not easy, it's not difficult to learn about a technology. So right here, so this is now what we are going into. So all we need to know is to become an expert of we need to become an expert of this all. Okay, so so right here, so guys, keep taking screenshots if you want to keep them for your notes. So now the very first thing, that Azure, why Microsoft Azure and AWS are famous? Because they have data center across the world. They have data centers across the world. How many data centers they have across the world? There are 54 global Azure regions, 42 available, and 12 in the pipeline, which means that they have data centers throughout the world. So on this North American side, they have data centers. On this here in Brazil side, they have data center. In Europe, they have many data centers, and Australia, they have data center. Middle East and China and Russia, they have data centers throughout the world. And why do they need to have these data centers? Because guys, let's think of an example. The example is of let's say Netflix. For a Netflix website, So I'm going to take an example, Netflix here. Or let's take an example of, okay, Netflix is a good example. Netflix is an example. Now, Netflix is that website that is being accessed throughout the world. So, which means they have customers in North America, they have customers in Europe, they have customers in Middle East, they have customers in China, they have customers in Australia, they have customers basically throughout the world. Now, Netflix doesn't have to worry about if they are hosted in AWS or if they are hosted in Azure. They don't have to worry about providing slow movie performance for their users throughout the world. Why? Because they are hosted in Azure or they are hosted in cloud. So they have servers here. They have servers hosted here, and since Microsoft have data centers throughout the world, they can replicate exactly the same servers elsewhere within their data center. So guys, this is basically the biggest advantage of a cloud technology. If you are with a cloud provider, they can easily replicate your same services throughout the world. All you need to do is to just pay them the renting fee for the use of resources. I mean, look at the flip side. The flip side of this is if Netflix has had to do this on their own, and they were doing it on their own before they hosted their servers in the cloud technology. So they are using, yes, VR47 is saying they're using the AWS. So AWS and Azure, they have data centers throughout the world. So I'm taking this as an example for both of them. So on the flip side, if Netflix had to have their services hosted throughout the world, it would have been very difficult for them to do this and very expensive as well. So they have, let's say they can host 20 servers in North America for their movies, and then they also had to host 20 servers in Europe based on their movie views. And this Netflix is fairly very common website known to everyone throughout the world. So everyone is using Netflix. But with the cloud technology, it's not only the cheap solution, it's a cheaper solution for them because they now need to pay as they go, and plus it will give them the scalability as well. They can increase the number of servers anytime within minutes. They can ask AWS to just increase 10 more servers since they have more customers in UK, or maybe in the holidays time in Australia. They know that in holidays time people will use Netflix, and they can easily within minutes they can power on these servers, and they won't have any performance degradation for their use of their services. So guys, the point here we need to understand is that the bigger the data centers, the bigger the number of data centers across the world, that will be that makes the cloud provider more powerful. And all three of them, they have data centers throughout the world. So let's look at, maybe we can look at the AWS data center infrastructure as well. So AWS regions. And if we look at this here, if we go to their regional availability of AWS, this is actually the document. No, we're not looking at the document. Actually, I just wanted to look at the images. And here, let's look at, so we can look at this one. So they have data centers, so they have regions around. They have around, I think they have like 40 regions as well. I mean, just few years back, 5 years back, they both they started with 10 regions and 12 regions. Now both of them are sitting on maybe 40 or 50 regions. So they are in their regions, and they are coming soon as well. So they have few coming soon, and within next 10 years they will have double the number of regions and double the number of data center, and in each region they have data center. And region is this blue spot, this blue circle that you're looking at. This blue circle is a complete region, and in each region there are multiple data centers inside. So there are thousands and thousands of servers for these different services. So from this slide we understood this point, that having more number of regions throughout the world make the cloud provider more powerful, and also the end user with more with more services. So end user can enjoy the benefit of performance and the speed and the cost as well. Now here I wanted to give you an example how a data center looks like. So first of all these data centers are made up of servers. So these are stack of servers. So first of all, their data center. Now we are talking about Microsoft Azure data center. So these are servers. Guys, I hope everyone is attentive, because from this slide we need to understand this properly. So if anyone has any questions, yes, I'm looking at the chat window as well. So if you have a question, it's excellent. So from here on, we need to understand this. So please put your mic on mute. I would request, if you don't have a question. If you have a question, always you're most welcome to unmute your mic. Okay, so right here, viewer 31, I have to mute your mic, and you can unmute your mic at any time if you have a question. Okay, so guys, from here, this is very simple understanding, but we need to understand that from rock bottom, and so we need to have this on our fingertips. So here, all of the data centers are made up of servers, and on the servers, we have something called Azure Fabric controller. This Azure Fabric controller, it controls all of the servers here. What are we trying to understand? We are trying to understand the Azure data center. So Azure data center. So within the Azure data center, the very first thing is that they have servers, number one. And then they have Azure Fabric Controller. Fabric Controller is basically a device that controls the servers, and then that connects to an orchestrator. That connects to this orchestrator. So number one, servers. Number two is Azure Fabric Controller. Number three is orchestrator. Orchestrator is simply an automation tool. So orchestrator is simply an automation tool. So what happens is, so it does automation. So what type of automation? And that automation is, let's say I need to create a VM. I need to create a VM. All I need to do is go to the portal. I can go to the portal and I can request creating a VM. So this is the portal here. This is the portal. From the portal, I can create a VM. This request goes back to the web API, and that goes back to the orchestrator, and orchestrator, it will make sure that it is the right user who is creating that VM, and that sends all the instructions to the Azure Fabric Controller, and the VM will be created in one of the servers. So these are physical servers in the back that can host hundreds of VMs inside. So basically, this is how the data center is. Data center has servers. It has Azure Fabric Controller that is connected to an orchestrator, which is nothing but an automation tool. So orchestrator is equal to an automation tool, and that connects back to the portal. So in the portal, we go and create a VM that sends the request back to using the scripts. It automatically creates. It automatically creates the VM within the server. Viewer 51 is saying, can you repeat that one more time? Oh, yes. Okay. So going back here, going back to the data center. So first of all, what we understood that there are many regions within Microsoft Azure. Why there are many regions within Microsoft Azure? Because they have their global presence, and any customer, they can host any application from China and provide it to North American customers. They can have any application in Middle East, and it can be provided throughout the world within minutes within these data centers. Now, what is in the region? In the regions, these data centers are made up of servers. Servers have something called Azure Fabric Controller on top of each rack, and then each fabric controller. So these fabric controllers are connected to Orchestrator. So when they are connected to Orchestrator is an automation tool. This is an automation tool, and that automation tool basically fulfills all the requests that we send from the portal. And what portal I am talking about? I'm talking about this portal. So if I go to Microsoft Azure portal, and today you will be creating an account, and then you will have this portal as well. So from this portal, I can request a VM. I can go here within VMs here, and within the VM I can go and create the request. So this portal is basically where you can request a VM. So let's say if I've requested the VM, the instruction will go to the orchestrator, and orchestrator sends it back to the Azure Fabric Controller. Fabric Controller is basically, Fabric is a name that Microsoft used for their complete networking services. So long back, this is not a new name for Microsoft. Microsoft used this name for their complete their complete networking services. So basically, we created a VM. The instruction goes to Orchestrator, which is automation tool. It sends the instructions to create a VM. That's it. And now, so this is how the information travels within this, and then there are clusters. So so they make servers. They make number of servers to and collect them in one group of servers, and that is known as cluster. And then there are multiple clusters within each data center. So in each data center there is cluster 1, then there is cluster 2. In data center 2 there is cluster 1, then there is cluster 2 that is connected to a availability zone. So guys, one more time, what we are trying to understand here, we are trying to understand the complete Microsoft data center high level view. So which is basically, here we have a region. Let's say this is a US region, and US region has availability zone, and they have 2 data center within that availability zone, which means that this might be New York, and this might be California. So this data center, so these 2 data center are in 2 different physical locations, and there are specifications where they need to follow in order to place these different data centers. So these data center, and then within each data center, and these data center back up each other. So these data center have clusters, and in the clusters we have servers information. So, and this is for high availability. For example, if let's say this complete cluster is gone, it is being backed up with this cluster, and so the customer or the user, they won't have any issues. And this is how it will work. So when a new customer joins Microsoft, so let's say this is a college. A college now needs to host a machine, host their let's say 20 servers with Microsoft. So they would, let's say they're in Toronto and or in Canada. So first of all, they would go to their Microsoft support. Microsoft support will basically analyze their request, and based on their request and their services, if it is a Canadian company or if it is a US company, they would refer it back to Canadian data center and Canadian Microsoft services. So user doesn't have to know about all this. This is us, Azure administrator, that needs to know about all this. And even in most cases, Azure administrator Azure Administrator, it only works on the portal. We most of the time work on the portal. This complete infrastructure is Microsoft's responsibility. Taking care of these servers, fabric controller, orchestrator, clusters, data center, availability zone, this is all Microsoft's responsibility. This is not our responsibility. We as Azure architect, we work with the customer. So the college will hire us. The college will hire an Azure admin, and Azure admin needs to be an expert of the portal. So this is the portal where Azure admin. So college management will tell you, okay, we need 2 new servers. So admin will go into the portal and request for 2 new VMs. That request goes back to, so this is the portal basically. We are sitting here. So request goes to the orchestrator, and orchestrator will automatically create those VM where those VMs needs to be created, and it will be it will. So I mean, what do I mean by where it needs to be created? It simply means that the VM will be created where they have a space, where it is more convenient for the VM to basically provide it as a high availability option. So so from this slide we understood that Microsoft has regions, and regions have availability zones, and in availability zones there are data centers. Data centers that are apart by if not thousand, hundreds of kilometers each data center. So, and they keep it, they keep in view, let's say if a natural disaster if a natural disaster is happening on maybe a flood or maybe something else is happening on one data center, it shouldn't so the 2 data centers should be apart in a manner that the other data center shouldn't be effective unless it's a huge natural disaster. But the data centers are definitely quite apart. So here we have data center number 1, but now as being an architect, Azure architect or Azure admin, we need to keep that in our photo memory. In our photo memory, that in the region the data centers looks like this. They have clusters, and the clusters are backing up each other. So if you're coming from a server's background, you will be able to understand a cluster, or a cluster is a group of similar servers for now. So now from this slide, we need to understand that what, as an admin, as an Azure admin, what is your responsibility? We need to become an expert of this portal. So your question might be, do we need to become an expert of all this? No, we don't need to become an expert all this. This is not our responsibility. This is what is known as IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service, where complete infrastructure is Microsoft's responsibility, and your responsibility is only your own application that are sitting on the servers, right? So so that means Microsoft, so that means the vendor will never be responsible the infrastructure. So the minimum type of services that cloud is offering is IaaS, right? And even in IaaS, infrastructure is Microsoft responsibility. So which means this ABC vendor or ABC company or Roger as a company or a clinic, they will never see the infrastructure, and you're not responsible for the infrastructure. So viewer 23 asked the question, how they keep the data safe? Is there any backup of these data centers? Yes. So a very good question. They keep it. The backup is in these data centers. Okay. So now, based on this question, this is so one thing that we need to keep in mind. So which is kind of a right-hand rule within Microsoft. So every data or every disk in the cloud, and this is a standard within all 3 of the cloud platforms, which is AWS and Azure and GCP. All 3 of them, the standard is that every data that is created in the cloud, it will have 3 copies. it will have 3 copies. So which means that one copy in this cluster, the second copy might be in this cluster, and the third copy might be in this cluster. So each data will automatically, without buying, without customer requesting Microsoft that they need to have that high availability option, every data will have 3 copies of each within the data center. And what is the reason? The reason is that if one copy goes down, the second copy is available. If the 2 copies goes down, then the third copy is available, and the end user will never be affected. So it will be very rare if all 3 copies goes down. So VR23, a very good question, that how do you keep the data safe? Is there a backup for these data? So guys, for interviews, keep that in mind, that Microsoft, AWS, GCP by default keep 3 copies of data locally within the region. So this is a default high availability provided by these data center providers. This is number 1. Number 2, if any company is interested and they are saying, no, 3 copies are not enough for me, and I need a 4th copy, and not even in this region. I have very expensive data that needs to be set. So they request that, keep it in China or in a different region elsewhere as a backup. So if this complete region goes down, they have a second copy. This is also available, but this comes with a price. If they need to have a 4th copy sitting elsewhere within another region, so basically this is done to keep a copy in another region, not in another data center. Data centers are basically in a close proximity as compared to regions. If you look at the map, here, regions are physically apart. So one region, let's say in one state, and the other region in another state, and one region is in Australia. So regions are basically a continent apart, or maybe countries apart. But within the country, Microsoft has data centers, and within these data centers, these are divided into availability zone. So one rule that we learned today is from this slide, that every data will have 3 copies, and this is by default from all cloud providers. So when you go for interview, when you are sitting in a discussion, in a meeting, you can say, so they would say, what is the backup available for these services? So your simple answer is Microsoft keeps 3 copies. Microsoft keeps 3 copies for each data, and without any extra charges. So VR38 asked the question, will keeping the 3 copies incur any extra cost, or inclusive? This is inclusive the resource changes, resource usage. There is no extra cost for this. And they keep 3 copies within the same region. But then because I work with these different architects, I work with security architects, network architects, and their response to this type of facility is, I would call this is a facility by default that Microsoft or cloud providers are providing. But then they are saying, why 3 copies? These 3 copies are useless because they are sitting in the same region. They are sitting in the same region. On one side, you're getting a free service for 3 copies of your each data. This is indeed a facility. If it is not there, then you'll have to spend money on keeping the backup. But yes, if you are interested in keeping that data elsewhere out of this region, yes, you can do that, and for that Microsoft will charge you for their services. Okay, so having understood this, this understanding, now let's look at some basic definitions here. Geography is a discrete market typically containing 2 or more regions that preserve data residency and compliance boundaries. So then there are regions, and the region is a set of data centers deployed within the latency defined parameter and connected through a dedicated regional low latency network. Check the availability of the product by region. So within the regions, there are data centers, and then within regions there are availability zones. And availability zones are physically separate locations within the Azure region, and each availability zone is made up of one or more data center equipped with independent power cooling and networking. So basically three things are there. There is geography, there is regions, then there is availability zone, and under availability zone there are data centers. And under data centers, then there are clusters, and then under cluster there are servers. There is that fabric controller. Then under fabric controller there are servers, and then under servers then there is that orchestration tool, and that is connected to web app. Guys, I'm just taking it out from my photo memory. So guys, this is why I'm saying photo memory is so easy to remember things. I mean, yes, you can say that I've been working in this field for a long time and I remember all this, but at the moment I'm just taking it out from the photo memory. And from the photo memory, if you keep that, just take a snapshot in your memory. And this is taking out from the portal. So let's go back to this. Let's go back here, and here just look at this diagram. We started with understanding of servers, number one. We started with understanding of servers, number one. Actually, before that, we started understanding of regions. So there are 52, 54 global regions, and same goes for, I mean, numbers might be different, but AWS has, and GCP, they have regions too. And we will, once we go into those trainings, we'll get into more. But their basic understanding is exactly the same. There are multiple regions here. Guys, keep clicking, keep taking snapshots in the memory, in the photo memory. And then within the regions, how regions are managed, there are servers, underlying servers on which we host VMs and websites, and everything is hosted on these servers. So whatever you see in the cloud, the Netflix. So let's take our favorite Netflix. And Netflix, all the servers are hosted on these servers. Netflix only doesn't have the servers; they also are using huge storage, and storage is also within these racks. The storage and the networking is all in these racks. And the second thing is they have Fabric controller. So there is a question from Azure, which is so cluster is a group of Fabric controllers and not the group of servers. No, actually cluster is a group of both. Actually cluster is a group of servers, whereas Fabric controller is only to control the usage or the resources of the server. So the correct definition of a cluster will be it's a collection of servers, including the Fabric controller. Fabric controller is just a controller that controls the service, but basically all the goodies are sitting in these servers. And then these servers are connected to our orchestrator, and then these orchestrator is connected back to a web app API. And this is where the scripting is. This is where the programming is. This is where these all scripts are there, which runs when we request something. So we request from the portal, create a VM, and there are some bunch of scripts that run automatically. These scripts are sent back to orchestrator, and now orchestrator knows that which networking components and which security and everything. So orchestrator is a combination of everything. So it sends the request here, and then the VMs are made. So just keep that in mind, guys, everyone. And the next question is, but the group of server is still assigned to a single Fabric controller. A group of servers are assigned to a single Fabric controller, but you can see there are two Fabric controllers for these servers. So yes, if you are referring to the servers that are beneath the Fabric controller, but this is why they are all in a cluster. This is why in the second picture here, they are all in a cluster. If this Fabric controller goes down, then this Fabric controller will be able to manage everything. So that won't be an issue. So Shakil asked a question: do we still need to have some backup of if some corruption or data in order to revert back? Yes. Absolutely, yes. A very good question. So the question is regarding, let's say, even if we have 3 copies of each data, do we still need to have enterprise level backup? Yes, we still need to have that enterprise level backup. And why do we need to have enterprise level backup? We still need to have enterprise level backup because we will be taking backups on our own schedule. So this is basically, so what I said was that for each data there will be 3 copies of each data, right? So this is fine, this is understandable. But 3 copies of each data, this is like a point in time backup. But in enterprise backup applications, we take backups based on different techniques. Like we take backups of files, we take backups of folders, we take backups of applications, we take backups of websites and web services, and so on. And when we need to restore them, we can restore them. Even I need to restore just one file, I can restore it right here. But in here, this is actually providing me a redundant type of data, and this will not provide us enterprise level backup feature. So for that reason, companies will still require this, but this is just to be on the safe side. Microsoft is protecting your data just out of their own responsibility, and they're providing 3 copies. So to answer the question, yes, companies will still need enterprise level backup. Viewer number 23, is there any recommended internet speed bandwidth we need to run these virtual machines? Yes, for sure. Your internet has to be is a very good internet. I mean, very good internet. So at least it has to be at least a DSL internet, which is maybe T1 and T2 lines, or most of the time, guys, most of the time. So why am I saying this? Because based on my experience, I worked with many organizations, and most of these companies, they have leased line. They have their dedicated internet. So Rogers basically is a telecom company. They don't worry about internet. They have their own internet. Let's talk about a medical center. A medical center, or maybe airport services, they all have, guys, these all are large organizations. They have good internet speed. So yes, you need to have at least anywhere from 10 MB and over. 10 MB and over, then your clients will be able to connect to internet. So I mean, this is even internet is not even a question nowadays, because internet is really cheap. Even commercial is cheap. I know that commercial is more expensive than residential, and we get 50 MB, 100 MB at home. So these companies are getting good internet. Yes, internet is very important part. It's a good question. So guys, keep that in the photo memory. This is so we have regions, we have availability zone. Within availability zone, there are different data centers, and within data centers we have clusters, and clusters are protecting all these servers. Okay, so in your notes, everyone, in your notes, try making this, try writing this in this manner, in a hierarchical manner, which is like, so there are regions, then there are availability zone. I mean, I'm sure if you write it 1 or 2 times, maybe sitting in front of a TV when you're reviewing the notes, everyone, if you're reviewing the notes and you're writing this one more time on a rough page, or maybe explain it to someone, guys, trust me, this will go into your good memory. This will go into your long lasting memory, and that will definitely help you in the interviews, because interviews are just out of the memory. So we will be making our memory sharp with this. I mean, especially for this cloud technology. Follow up question on the previous question: Is there a distinction between download and upload speed? Yes, for sure. There is fine line between download and upload speed. At home nowadays, I mean, at home we don't need upload that much. So this is why at home, when we get our home internet, we get more download speed. If we are getting 50 MB as download, we might be getting 5 MB as upload. Okay, so upload is not that important within the home network, but with the cloud technology, you need both almost the same. You need both almost the same. Why? Because the company, let's say this ABC company, and they're all employees are connecting to the cloud to use their application. So if you're working for a company as a web developer, you're basically accessing the server. So you need to have equal upload and download speed. So this is one thing. Secondly, when you get a leased line connection, when you get a leased line connection from internet, so Microsoft provides two type of connections. Microsoft provides internet, and so when you get these services, guys, internet connection is Microsoft responsibility. Okay. So when I say it is Microsoft responsibility, let's say if I am a company and I need to host in Microsoft Azure, then internet connection will be based on Microsoft's requirement. And that Microsoft requirement, Microsoft basically connects with the local internet provider, whoever is local internet provider. For example, in Saudi Arabia, they have the local internet provider Saudi Telecom. In Australia, it is called in Australia it is Dodo. I know the name is strange, but they call it Dodo. This is the internet provider. In Dubai, it's Do. It's Do. And there are many different providers. And why am I giving you the names of these telecom providers? Because, guys, when these companies get a subscription in Microsoft will contact these telecom providers, local telecom providers, and then will recommend a line for this company. So the line they will be getting is a dedicated internet to their. This will be a dedicated internet to the company's to the company's network. So Microsoft provides two type of lines. They provide a leased line internet, and also they provide a express connection that we will be learning in our networking chapter. In the networking chapter, we will be learning about this. But yes, in this, going back to that question, download and upload. Yes, download and upload matters a lot in this, and this is why this is based on Microsoft owns recommendation. They don't go with the internet connection that is provided. That is existing within the company or the organization. They need to get the internet connection that is recommended by the cloud provider. Okay. So the next one here is pair regions. So this is another picture here just to show you that how the regions are connected with each other. So region 1 has 3 availability zones, and each availability zone has multiple data centers inside. And then there is a connection between the region as well, which is an internal Microsoft connection. You're most welcome. And so there is a connection. So, and this is how data redundancy boundary is. So pair regions, availability zones within the same data residency boundary for high availability data, disaster recovery and backup. So this is another picture that I want you to have in your mind as well. And if you can, in your notes, you can take these pictures and put it in your notes as well. I will provide you these presentations as well. Okay. So guys, now another look at the use of resources. So now we have seen the data center from outside. We have seen a physical picture of a data center. We have seen how the data center is structured inside. Now the next bunch of slides are how the resources are managed within the portal. So how the resources are managed within the portal. So guys, I would request everyone to keep taking notes. I know this will be, I mean, learning in any technology, the first 1 or 2 lecture is mostly theory lectures. Why? Because we need to understand the basic concepts. So I'm hoping that this is an interesting information. It's not boring information, guys. Always keep your eyes on the money, on the dollar amount that you will be getting after getting this. That will definitely keep you active in this. Otherwise, I mean, this technology is here to stay. This technology is here to stay. Cloud is just started, and it will become a huge big cloud. So okay, so my point is, please take notes as much as possible. So next few slides are very important here. So we understood the outside of this, the outside data center, and now we are about to understand the inside use of resources. Now that we are in the cloud, so this slide is, I am in the cloud here. So let me be in the cloud. So let's say a company called ABC, and with their 20 servers, they need to move into Microsoft Azure. So now they are going into Microsoft Azure. What do they need? So the very first thing they need is a subscription. So they would request a subscription. Actually, before a subscription, they need an account. So first, whenever somebody is creating an account in Azure, the very first thing that is required is an account. So we will create an account. So you will, when you register yourself in Azure, first of all, you will create an account. And once your account is created, and guys, when you create an account in Azure, it will require your complete, your own, your first name, last name, and all your details. So your name and your address and all the details. This is part one. And secondly, they will ask you for the credit card information. They ask you for the phone number to be verified, number one. And then they will ask you for the credit card information. So credit card, they will ask you for the credit card information, and so that credit card information, they won't be using it. They're using all this information to make sure you're a legit user. So next time, and then once you verify all this information, you will have an account there. And then the next thing, you will create a subscription. You will request a subscription. So this is how the account creating process is. The first, you will create an account with your name details, with your phone number. They will verify. They will send you a PIN, and you will verify your phone number, and then you will create a credit card. You will create an account. You will provide them the credit card, and don't worry. You have to. I mean, without this part, they won't even create your account. They need to see that if the person who is creating an account is a serious person, and then they will provide you with a 30 days trial account. So this is 30 days with $120 of credit, depending on which regions you are. So in Middle East, they provide a different type of credit. In Australia, they provide different type of credit, but they will provide you this type of credit. Now, what is the meaning of $120 credit? So let's say you created a VM, and the VM cost was, let's say, $104 a month. And then they go as per use. They go per use. You will use the resources. Let's say you work with the VM for 2 hours. So then 2 hours will be deducted from, so it will be divided from the 104 monthly charges, and then let's say it comes out to be maybe $1 or maybe few cents for 2 hours. So that few cents will be gone from your $120 credit. And same goes for any other services. And normally when you create a resource, so this is a VM you are creating, in the same manner so VM is not only a VM has a disk as well. So they charge separately for the disk. They charge separately for the CPU. I know, guys. Please do not, I mean, do not panic on this. I know this is a lot of information here, but we will be learning that step by step. But here, I'm just giving you an idea that there is a price for a CPU, there is a cost for a disk, there is a cost for networking. So they charge each and everything within this, but it is really cheap as compared to the real environment or physical servers. So how do you create an account? You create an account by going on to that free website that I provided, and then you can provide your name details, you will provide your phone number, you will provide your credit card information. Once this is all verified, then they will give you 30 days free trial with $120 credit, and the use of based on the use of resources, this dollar amount will be accumulated. After 30 days, this account will be expired, and then they will ask you to pay for this subscription, this free account will be converted into pay as you go. So this will be pay as you go. So this will be pay as you go after that. So guys, pay as you go. Okay, I have to say go. Now, so I would give you, so the trick here is, in order to use this for a longer period of time, all my students, previous students, we tried it many times. So even if you're on pay as you go, you don't need to worry about, as long as you create a VM and then delete it on the same day. As long as you create a VM and you delete it on the same day, they won't charge you anything. So this is what we do. This is what we instruct. So whenever you create a lab, anything, just delete on the same day, and next day, whenever you need to create it again, you will create again. And creating a new VM takes about minutes. So it's not a huge big thing. So as long as you create the resource and delete, and don't forget to delete at the end once you're done, then you don't worry about even pay as you go. You can keep pay as you go for even 1 year, and your credit card won't be charged. Shakil is saying, any special price for students? Yes, there is a special price for students. There is a special price for students if you are a student of a university. If you are a student of a college that is registered with Microsoft, those colleges that are registered with Microsoft, they can get discount. They can get, I mean, the only difference that they will get, that this trial will be more. I mean, this 30-day trial, it won't be a 30-day trial. It will be like a 3 months trial. So that's the only difference when you get a university or a college account. If your friends, if your children, or if you have anyone in the family who's going to a university or a college, they can check with their IT department, and then you can get a discounted account for them. But guys, you don't even need that. As I said, start with a free account and go with pay as you go, and every day we delete our lab and then we create it next day. So viewer number 14 asked the question, if we turn down the server, then they will charge. It's a very good question. Guys. Some services are charged 24/7, even if you don't use them. So the best way is to keep the cost down is to delete the resource. So for example, guys, again, the question is that even if we shut down the server, so let's say you created this server and you shut it down. So if the server is online, definitely you are being charged. Okay, but if the server is shut down, then you are not charged for CPU, but you are still charged for the storage. You are still charged for the disk, because you are getting that disk. So for that reason, I would say to delete the resource and don't keep it on for days and days. So the next question is viewer 23 is saying, you mean you can delete a VM within 24 hours, then there will be no charge? Yes, if you can delete, then there will be no charge. But again, if you're using a premium storage, you'll still be charged. So there are some services that will be charged. So guys, I mean, using these resources, getting trained, and even if you're charged at the end of the month $1 or $2, guys, I mean, that is worth it. I mean, you are learning, you are learning this good stuff. So but so my experience is, So even if you want to get that $1 or $2 back that they charged, AWS and Azure, you just send them one email saying that, I was doing this for learning purposes, and they will return that amount. So even they returned even cents, people asking for cents of information just for checking. A few students did that. They sent them email for testing purposes, and they returned it. But guys, if you leave a VM on for weeks and weeks and you go on to a vacation and then come back, then definitely they will charge and they won't return back the amount, depending on whatever resource you're using. Okay, Shakil asked the question, can we keep creating VMs for a month without deleting them during 30 days free? Yes, this is for sure. You can create VMs, VM1, VM2, VM3, VM4, VM5, and leave them for 30 days. So guys, yes, for 30 days, this is why they gave this cap. Exactly for this situation, they gave this cap. As soon as it hits the $120 credit line, use of resources, after that they will start charging you as per the use of resources. This is number one. And number two, always remember that there are some services that are 24/7 charged. So not everything is free. So there are two types of storage. Storage is standard storage, which is free, and then there is premium storage, which is fast. Like in real life, we know there is SSD and there is normal disk. SSD is faster, so premium storage is always charged. As soon as you create a VM with a premium storage, it will start charging. Okay, and then there is another question: do they send the billing details, and how often? Yeah, billing detail is right at once. It is right there within the portal, and we will be setting up alerts on the billing detail as well. So we will set up alerts as soon as my credit reaches $5. Send me an email. As soon as it reaches $50, send me an email and an SMS. Yes, we can set those alerts up as well. Okay, so guys, having said that, so in this slide we started with understanding of. Okay, so let's see, what is the time now? The time is 3:39. Okay, so let me finish with this slide, then we'll take a 5 minutes break here. But if no break is required, it's fine. I can go on. This is 9:39, and we still can go till 10:30 here, guys. Okay. Okay. So on this slide, guys, what we have learned about this. We learned that ABC company wanted to host their 20 servers, and guys, just remember, for the real environment and the interview purposes, we call them workloads. So when they interview, they would ask you, how much workload have you worked on? Or what was the workload about that was moved to cloud? So workload refers to the number of servers or number of resources. Workload includes servers. Workload includes websites. Workload includes all the resources that you're moving into the cloud. So if somebody says ABC company wanted to move 20 servers, I would say the workload is 20 servers. So workload that is moving into cloud. So okay, so 20 server workload is moving into cloud. So what did you do first? First, we create an account, and then we provided our name details, phone numbers, and credit card information. And the next thing is, then we created a subscription. Guys, always remember that creating an account doesn't mean that you have a subscription. Subscription comes after. This is exactly like when you buy a Samsung phone. With a Samsung phone, you get the Samsung application, or you get an account in Samsung website, or you get an account but you don't. But the subscription comes later. You can get a subscription of any cloud technologies later on. So you get a phone, but maybe OneDrive is not there, or Google Drive is not there, because you still need to buy a subscription. So when you buy a subscription is of two types. Number one, free subscription. Number two is pay as you go. And then there is number three, number four, number five is, and we will go through this. Okay. So once you have a subscription, which we will start with free subscription, 30 days trial, and with $120 of credit. Guys, once we are here, then we are logged into the portal. Then the very first thing that we need to understand is the resources. What is resources? And then after resources, there is something called, so after resources, then we create resource group. And within the resource group, we have, and the resource group reside under the subscription. So first comes subscription, then there is resource group, and then under that there is resources. Okay, so let's take a 5 minutes break just to freshen up, and in 5 minutes, let's meet back in 5 minutes, and we will continue our lecture and finish by creating an account today. So viewer 20 asked a question. You said turning off the VM. What is the difference between delete and turning off? Okay, so I'll take that question right after the break. It's a good question. Hello guys, welcome back after the break, and let's continue. Just before the break, we were discussing about cloud technology. Today we discussed about cloud, different type of cloud offerings. So let's quickly recap where we started from, guys. Thank you everyone for attendance. Please type yes in the chat window if you're present. Guys, cloud technology is not very difficult to understand, but it is paying well. It is paying. It's there will be actually there are currently a lot of good opportunities out there, and there is so normally as an experienced cloud architect. So first you will start as an admin. As an admin, definitely this will pay you anywhere from $200 per day to up, starting from $200 per day, depending on an admin. As an architect, if you're an expert like admin for 1 or 2 years and you become an expert in architect with all of the required certifications, and certification is just the exams, the pay rate is anywhere from 500 to 800 per day, and this is normal for architects. At the moment, I would say at the moment throughout the world, because of the COVID, we are seeing less number of jobs, but still I'm already on a contract, but I get calls every other week from different places, different companies that are moving into cloud, especially for the cloud security that requires. I mean, whenever they want somebody for being a cloud security architect or cybersecurity architect, they basically require someone who is already on the basics on the cloud as well. Okay, so never fear about after getting this certification you will get a job or not, guys. There are hundreds of jobs. All you need to do is to prove yourself. So how do we prove ourselves? So since you are in this training, first of all, concepts should be very, very clear. Now, what about the concepts? What about the concepts, guys? The concepts is exactly like this, how we learn in this training. For example, cloud has three cloud models, which is a public cloud. So I'm reviewing this information now, for the sake of concepts, and I keep on reviewing this information in every lecture. So in every lecture we have a review of previous lecture and previous to previous and previous to previous, right from the first lecture. And then at the end of each training you will automatically become an expert with 3-4 years of experience in Azure cloud. So why am I saying 3-4 years of experience in Azure cloud, guys? Because when you, yes, please go ahead. Question. Oh, somebody's talking. Okay. So guys, here we have a public cloud, we have a private cloud, and hybrid cloud. But why am I saying that? How do you prove that you have 3-4 years of experience? Because the interviewer who is sitting there, they will ask a question and you will have an answer, 2 or 3 answers for one question. So this is how they know that you have such and such experience. Guys, they don't trust resumes. Nobody trusts resumes, because everybody knows that in resume we have written a lot of things that we don't even that we're not aware of. So resumes are actually a face value just to call you for the interview. But within the interview, it's all your knowledge. It's all your clear concepts. So within the resume, it's all your knowledge, and after the knowledge, it's your hands-on. Okay, I'm this line. Okay, so after it is your hands-on. Okay, so the concepts. So what have we learned today? We have learned cloud has 3 types of models: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Guys, at this point when I'm reviewing this information, if you just saying this from your in your own words at the time when I'm saying that, there will be an excellent as well. There will be an excellent. So 3 cloud models, which will be public, private, and hybrid cloud offering. And then for all of these cloud packages, there are 3 different cloud packages that are available, which is IaaS, number 1, number 2, which is PaaS, we need to remember, number 2, and number 3 is SaaS. Okay, and now, so these three different cloud type of offering, and how many clouds are offering all these services? All the three cloud joints, which is Azure, AWS, and GCP, and other than that, all of other cloud providers as well. They all provide these three different packages, and these three different cloud models are there as well. Okay, so now we understand that. Then we started with Azure, and then we started with Azure region. So I'm gonna change this to the second slide here for this, and here we started with cloud, and I would say Azure. So now what do we need? What do we know about Azure from this lecture? From this lecture, we know that Azure has regions, number one, and regions have availability zones. So we call them AVs, or availability zones. And third, in availability zones, there are multiple data centers. And each data center has their own complete set of clusters. So you have cluster one, we have cluster two, and clusters have a number of servers. So they have number of racks and servers there. These servers are connected to fabric controllers. So fabric controllers, and fabric controllers are then connected to orchestrator. So they are connected to orchestrator, and orchestrator is connected to web app, where the scripts are, web API actually, and then that is connected to a portal, and this is where we are sitting as an admin. So we give a command from here, it goes all the way here, and then VMs are created. We manage all this from this. So this is one thing that we have learned today. And secondly, what we have learned is accounts and permission. When you are new to Azure, first of all, we create an account, and then we create a subscription. Right, and then we create a subscription, and then comes this next part that we are about to learn now, and that is basically when we create a subscription. Under the subscription, and actually before moving on, what we did, we created a free account within. So this was a free account with 30 days trial. It is a 30 days trial, and with $20, $120 of credit. I think this is in US, it will be US. In Canada, it will be Canadian dollars. And they also, they keep the same credit. For example, in Australia, it is $128. Because Australian dollar is less than Canadian dollar. And a subscription, then they have different type of subscription. For now, we are going with a free subscription. There is a student level subscription as well. There is a pay as you go as well. And then under the subscription, we create resource groups. So resource group, which is this next topic. So guys, as you can see, this is not difficult to understand. This is not difficult to remember. If we keep on repeating the same thing within lecture and then start the new topic, guys, definitely at the end of this lecture, you will definitely become an expert in this. Okay. So next thing is subscription, because I can give you a full 360 view of this information. All information connect right from the cloud to directly to the data center. So even if you're working somewhere and you already have something, you can ask me question from your environment as well. Okay, and I can give you all the required information. Secondly, the important thing is at the end of each training, we complete a project. So I will give you a project of, so based on all of the information that we have learned, so I will give you a complete set of instructions and projects saying that you need to build that in Azure. For example, you need to build 5 VMs in Azure. You need to build one scale set in Azure. You need to build VNets in Azure. So I will give that to you in order to test your own knowledge. And if you're able to complete that project, guys, definitely you have learned something. And in order to complete the project, you need to be very vigilant here. And since you are here in this training, I know that you're already made up your mind and you're serious. You will complete all of the labs by hook or by crook, because the labs are the one that makes us expert. Okay. So now we know that in Azure there are regions, and then in regions there are availability zones. In availability zones we have data centers and all. So once you get a subscription after creating an account, so we create an account and then we get a subscription, the very first thing that we create in Azure is called a resource group. A resource group is where we have all the resources. So resource group is where we create all the resources, right? So I mean, this is excuse me, this is exactly like when you get a Android phone, when you get a smartphone, and before installing application you need to have a Google account, Play Store account. You need to have a Google, I think it might be the same thing in iPhone as well. Google Play Store account or App Store account. And once you have that account, then you can add application, then you can install application. So that App Store account is like a resource group. So it is like this is like a resource group in there. And then so the very first thing we know, that subscription. And in the subscription we have a resource group, and within the resource group we have resources. And resources is where we can create VMs. So we can create VMs here. I can create a web app here. I can create a web app here, and I can create a switch, a virtual switch here. So resources are like this. So I have three resources here. So this is an example of a resource, and a resource group is basically one resource that is used for that resource, these resources. I mean, so what is an example of a resource group? Resource groups are created based on different requirement from the organization. Let's say I can have one resource group for finance department. So finance department, so that I can group all of the resources for the finance department. And I can have another group for my marketing department, so that I can group all the resources. All the VMs of finance department will be in this resource group, all the web apps in the finance department. So basically you get the point, that groups are to group the same type of the groups are used to basically have same type of resources within under one group. And subscription is basically subscriptions are used as a billing as a billing entity. So your complete account, your company will be billed against your subscription. So let's say you have two resource group, and this resource group finance has 5 VMs inside, 5 servers inside, and marketing group has three servers inside. So the accumulated billing will be charged based on the subscription. I mean, Microsoft will be charging whatever the resources are used, but then your company knows that finance department needs to pay for 5 servers and marketing department needs to pay for 3 servers. And this is how it is for all of these different organizations. All departments have their own budget and they pay on their own. So resource groups are like departments, and subscription is the main billing. It's number one. Subscription is used for billing. Number two, subscription is also used to apply policies. So this is where the policies are applied as well for this complete subscription. For example, finance admin, there will be a dedicated admin for finance. He cannot manage anything in marketing department, and marketing admin cannot do anything in this. So such type of policies will be part of subscription as well. So now what we know, that there are regions, then there are so in just in few seconds we can say that there are regions, then there is availability groups, then there are under availability availability zones. Was it availability zones? So to go back. It was availability zone, yes. So availability groups is another thing within, so that's why I just wanted to make sure. So there are availability zones, then under availability zones, there are clusters, under cluster there are servers, then under servers there are VMs and orchestrators. Viewer 14 asked the question, can we get Azure billing for resource group wise as well? Yes, within the billing report, we can create a report and send it to the billing department. Yes, this can be done as well. But basically, this is for a medium-sized company architecture. And later on, we will learn that we can create departments under this too. So under subscription, we can create departments, and under departments, we have resource groups. So there is a lot of flexibility for these companies. When you are working as a Azure admin, you will see all this. You will experience all this within these organizations. Okay, so Azure is used for resource policies, and Azure is also used for resource limits and financial limits as well. So this subscription is responsible for applying the policy. This is also responsible for applying the resource limits, whatever the resource limits are there. For example, in this if this is a pay-as-you-go subscription, or maybe they bought. So there are three types of subscription, basically more famous. There is free subscription, then there is pay-as-you-go, and the third type is advanced 3 years, 1 year advanced subscription, 1 year fully paid advanced subscription. And then there is 2 years and 3 years. There are 3 years plans available. So these are different type of subscriptions available, but they have restrictions as well. So there is 1 year plan, there is 2 year plan, there is 3 year plan as well. Obviously, if you buy Microsoft services for straight 3 years in advance, so there are companies that can pay for the next 3 years and say, these 100 servers we leased for next 3 years. And definitely they are getting at least 70 or 60% discount on these servers. Then why these? So most of the time, financial companies that have so they have the more money. Financial company, they just pay upfront for 3 years for 100 servers. And in that they will get huge discounts, but then there are resource limits as well. So the use of resources, whatever is written in the contract, they can use those resources. If they go outside the contract, they will pay as you go. So viewer 47 asked a question, can I have the multiple subscription under one account? Yes, we can have multiple subscription under one account, and mostly this is the case. For example, I'll give you an example of one of my contracts back in Middle East, and that was one huge company. There was one huge company, so I will call this company one. There was one huge company with 5 universities working under that one company. So university number 1, university number 2, university number 3, and these were proper universities, US and Canadian universities in Middle East. And there are 5 universities, and you can think of a university. University has huge campus and huge departments and huge number of students. So in that company, we created one enterprise account, and then under the account there were each subscription for each company. So subscription 1 for university 1, subscription 2, in order to basically completely having separate policies, separate resource limit, and separate financials. It's a very good question. That can we have multiple subscription under one account? Yes, this is one of the examples where we can have multiple subscriptions under one account. So now we know that there are subscriptions and there are resource groups. And resource groups work under management groups. And then management groups have Azure Resource Manager. Okay. So before going on to this, guys, this is, so when we create these, when we have an account, we have a subscription, and subscription works under management group. And that management group is an example of basically this company architecture, where you have management group, and under management group, you have multiple subscriptions. And here the purple dot represents a management group, an enterprise level account, and under that you have subscription, and subscription has resource groups. And similarly, viewers 47 asked a question. Similarly, under each subscription, can I have multiple RGs? Yes, for sure. It is, and in many companies, you will see this. You will see this type of hierarchy where you can see this type of management of resources. Now, so you might be thinking, some of you might be thinking, this looks very complex. This all looks very complex. Guys, it is not complex. It is our real life. It is just mimicking our real life. So, I mean, how is it mimicking our real life? I mean, it's very common that there are group of companies. So one company has sister concerns, different companies. So we already know that there are many companies that work under that have many companies under this. So this is a group of companies, and under a group of companies, you have different type of departments. So this is company number 1, company number 2, company number 3, and company number 4, and then there are departments under that. So there are department number 1, department number 2, and this has its own department number 1, department number 2. So this is exactly the same structure. This the top company, or the group of company which is a top company, it will represent as a management group, and under the management group, this is subscriptions. So here, if I change the color, this is subscription level, this is management group level, subscription, and departments are resource groups. So these are resource group 1, resource group 2, and under the resource group, then you have resources, use of servers and resources and all that. So guys, in order to remember anything within this technology, just try to relate it whatever you already know. So this is one example of understanding this architecture. The second example is, in all of the companies, there is a CEO. There is a CEO, and under the CEO, you have VPs. So you have VPs with their own departments, and under VPs there are GMs as well, right? So this is just to remember that there is different type of architecture. Viewer 10 saying, so there are salespersons who are selling the cloud services. Yes. So all of these organizations, all of these cloud providers like Azure, like AWS, like GCP, they all have pre-sales staff. And this is another opportunity. I mean, if you become an architect, Azure architect, you can also become part of their sales team as well. So they will send you to the companies to maybe present the cloud architecture and exactly the same thing, and you will sell the services. So all these companies, they have their pre-sales staff, but we don't need to worry about this because these companies are already famous, number one, and number two, this is companies are already 50% companies are already in cloud, so this is already famous. Now what we need to worry about is basically becoming an expert of these services. Okay, so now we have management group, we have Azure subscription, we have resource group, we also have resources. Okay, viewer 20 asked a question, how can I change to my name from number? I couldn't understand this question. Oh, okay, yeah. So how can you change your number? This I mean, in this meeting invite, I think when the first time when you log in, you need to provide the number. So from tomorrow, you will be, I mean, it will ask you the name. It will ask you to the name. Oh yes, you can go to the settings. Is there a setting here? You can go to the setting and ask for the setting. Okay, you can change your name as well. Yes, I'm sorry. I have not. I forgot the name. I'm sorry. So that's why. But I have to refer to the question as well. So that for that reason, I'm calling number. I'm sorry about that. But yes, tomorrow it will ask you to to write in the name. Okay. So guys, we have 10 minutes left with this. So we will recap and we will quickly go through this again, guys. Again, the cloud technology is not difficult. The where you are at the moment now, it is this technology is here to stay. 50% of companies are already in the cloud, and the rest of the companies are going in the cloud as well. So right here on this slide, we see that we have management group, then subscription, then on top of management groups, on top of management group, yes, question answer. So Azure guy is asking that do we have a, are we going through a question answers? Yes, we can. Actually, I was thinking that everyone is typing in the chat window, so we are already. I mean, if you have any questions, you can unmute your mic and ask a question. I would love a question, and then I will gladly would like to answer any questions. Okay, so excellent, very good. So here, guys, so on top of this, then we have something called ARM, which is Azure Resource Provider. On top of all this, there is Azure Resource Provider, and within Azure Resource Provider, basically this is where the orchestration happens. Remember that we said in the beginning that there is a resource provider, and then there is if there is orchestration. Remember, this is where ARM, which is Azure Resource Manager, provides the orchestration layer, and this is where the resource providers are sitting. So for example, if I need to create a VM, I need to create a VM as a resource. This basically will be created in this resource group, in this subscription, under this management group, but from this resource. So basically, Microsoft already have a script running for creating a VM, and this is a networking icon. This is a web icon. This is a web app icon. So since I'm requesting a VM, so it will take the VM from here and create it for me here. Now, Resource Manager is the one that connects with PowerShell, with Azure Portal, and the CLI. And remember that this Resource Manager is nothing but a orchestrator. This is the orchestrator, and this is the portal, and there are three ways we can request resources: Azure CLI, Azure Portal, and Azure PowerShell. So once we create these resources, then basically Azure Resource Manager will also make sure that you are a legit user and trying to create a resource. So this is where it will do the authentication, and then there will be different tenants. Tenants are the people who are part of Azure Active Directory, and this we will go into more detail. Do not worry about, guys. Today was you can say is a 10,000 feet view of the Azure resources. From tomorrow we will start working on this. So this is another view of enterprise business unit, the same thing that we just discussed. Enterprise level, this is enterprise group. Then we have subscription. Under subscription we can have Azure account as well. This is for a very, very large company. We will go into that detail as well. And these are all the services that are present. So there are compute services, there is integration services, and hopefully at the end of this training, we will become expert of at least 70-80% of services, if not 100%. Why? Because, guys, nobody can be an expert of everything within one training, or let's say even within your job experience as well. You will become an expert, but definitely we will touch all of the services, and we will basically be doing all of the important labs here. Okay, so guys, a little homework for you, a little homework for everyone to be completed, and that homework is creating your creating your Azure account. So before we leave now, I would like to basically give you this lab to complete on your own and create an account, and then share a screenshot. So we have a WhatsApp group already for this class. If you're not part of that WhatsApp group, please leave your name, number, and a phone number. Sorry, name, number, and a phone number is the same thing. So you need to leave your phone number so that Amin Bhai can add you within the group, and you will be part of all the conversation. So guys, just a quick peek on this. Just a quick peek on this lab, and then we will finish today's lecture. I know it will be kind of might be tiring today after a long lecture, but guys, this is very interesting. This is interesting in terms of understanding. It is easier. There is a lot of practical here. Okay. So the lab for today is that you need to do is to create your Azure account. And I will share this presentation on our WhatsApp group. And you can just basically create your account before tomorrow's lecture. And that is, you need to create an account. You will go to this website. You will go to this website. I will write the homework detail as well. Yes. So today's homework detail is just to create an Azure account and complete this lab. And later on, I will give you complete homework detail within the notes. We will create notes alongside with this. So for now, you just need to, and the step-by-step lab is right here. So if you're looking at the screen, start free. Then the next screen, you will go on to free. You will pick up your account. It will, I mean, if you already have a Hotmail or Microsoft account, you don't need to use that account. You can use another account. And then here it will just go with a create account. Here when you, so all the instructions are here, and then this is according to the new portal, because Microsoft has changed this portal and this request process I think around 10 or 15 times in the last few years. So now this is the latest one, and if even if you see a little change here and there, I mean, you should be able to logically go through this. So here you will provide your phone number. You can provide your phone number instead, or you can create an account here. And then if you provide your phone number, it will verify, it will send you a password, create a password, verify your phone number. So this is the code that they will send you to your phone number. Then you can provide your email address and then verify their email address, and your Azure account is created. So congratulations, you are all set up for your cloud experience in Azure. Now the second part of this lab is you will need to log in, and then you need to request for subscription. So you will log in by using your phone number, and then once you log into this, you can also do if you're logging in from your phone, you can use your fingerprint here as well, but here you can go for on the computer. And in here, you will say you may add or remove phone number, email if you want on your screen from here. And then in this, take a screenshot of the screen, share it in the group to confirm that you have created the account. So guys, please complete the lab. Yes, there will be 2 days. The class will be 2 days a week, which is today and tomorrow. It will be today and tomorrow, but then remember that next 5 days you don't have class. So please make sure that it is done. So at least this lab, but rest of the labs you have 5 days to complete. So here it will ask you to basically create a subscription. So it will ask you for your phone number, your card information and agreement, and sign up, and then it will give you your subscription. So lab 2 is creating your subscription. So you need to sign in when you are on the portal and then create a subscription. So this is the get $200 free credit towards Azure products and services for 12 months and free subscription. So this is the one that we are going for. This is $200. I think it was $120 before. I think maybe they might have changed it. And as I said, it is different in different places. So so this form that I created here was here in Sydney. So this is why it's asking for ABN. ABN here, if you have a business or a contract number, you can provide, but this is optional. For your case, it will provide you required things. So at the end, it will be, once you create, you will be able to create this subscription as well. So guys, please, when you create the lab, and if you have any questions, anyone, please ask any questions now. And the second thing is, we are at the end of this session today, and tomorrow we will be working in the portal to create our VM. Okay. So if you have any questions, the meeting will be open for 10 minutes. Otherwise, we're done for today. Thank you so much for joining this session. And hopefully you will be able to create the lab and account that will help us go through the lab. Okay. So please make sure that in the morning time, sometime you will create this account. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. And if you're not part of the WhatsApp group, please leave your number and email address with Amin Bhai. And because this was shared with, this presentation was shared with everyone. Thank you so much, Azure guy. And Polly, thank you so much. So that we can add you to the group. Viewer 38 asked a question. What is the weightage of the Azure certification in Azure search, in a job search? It is quite good nowadays. It is quite good nowadays. You can go to Indeed. You can go to whatever. If you're in US, I think there might be Dice. If you look at the job market, it's very good for Azure. And even in this COVID days, it is not bad as compared to other job market, because there are not many jobs at the moment due to COVID, due to companies are not investing. But very soon this market will open and there will be a lot of job requirement for Azure architects. So Asher A asked the question, where will be the information for the hardware and the presentation? It will be shared on a Google Drive, but make sure that you're part of the WhatsApp group, and all communication will be from the WhatsApp group. So if you have not provided your number, just make sure Amin Bhai has your details. Or you can provide it here. We can record it from here as well. Viewer 51 is saying, can we please also email homework? Yes. So today's homework is just this, creating that account. You can follow the presentation. But it's very logical. If you go to that website, just create your account and create a subscription. But if you need a step-by-step, the presentation will be shared today on the WhatsApp group, and from tomorrow it will be shared on a Google Drive. On a Google Drive, you will get the videos, complete video of the lecture, and you will also get all of the required tools that are required. So, and Polly is saying in US it is Indeed and Monster as well. This is excellent. Yes. So Indeed and Monster, you can have a look at that as well. Viewer 38 is saying, which certification is good to start with? So for now, I would say your start should be AZ104. Start with AZ104 at once, and we will provide you with the sample questions in a Google Drive. And once you're part of the training, I will be all over you to just finalize. Because guys, once you get certified, there is a huge chance that you will find a job. So my success will be that you will find a job at the end, and that is why I will be following up with you for the labs and everything. Shakil is asking a question. Are you also in the WhatsApp group? Yes, I am. I'm in the WhatsApp group as well. And you can ask any question within the WhatsApp group as well. So Atif is saying, I'm not in the WhatsApp group. How can I get into the WhatsApp group? Atif, you can leave your number and email address, and we will add you to the WhatsApp group. Okay. So Shakil, I am replying on the WhatsApp group. Hello. Okay, so viewer, viewer 62 is Maria, And guys, we need to provide a number and the email address. Amin bhai, are you online? Because Amin bhai is our training manager, and he will get your name and number and register you for this. Okay, viewer 20 is saying 103 is older. Yes, 103 is older. You can go for 104. There is a lot of sample questions available for 104 as well. Even though you can go for 103 as well, it's not expired yet. Viewer 38 is saying, sorry, I joined late. Where can I get the course curriculum and fee details? Okay, so Viewer 38, I can provide you this information. Please provide your email address and phone number. So I can provide you with the first presentation that has the complete. So as a summary, this is a 3-in-1 training, which is Azure Cloud. So first we'll complete Azure, then we'll complete AWS, and then we will complete GCP. So for all three of them, will be understanding the concepts and the labs as well. Plus, the charges for these three trainings is $9.99 charges, which is 3-in-1 training. So normally, $9.99 is for one training, but in this case, this is just $9.99 for the three trainings. And the classes will be 2 days a week, which is Friday night and Sunday and Saturday night. Friday night and Saturday night, so 2 days a week. And in next class, we can decide that if we need to give 1 day for in between the two classes, we can have it on Sunday night as well. But Sunday night, people cannot stay late because they might have to go to work. So for that reason, we kept it Friday night and Sunday night. Actually, it's evening, which is 6:30 to 10:30. Okay, thank you, Yunus. So we have got all the details, and I think Amin Bhai will be in touch with you for registration, and he will add you to the link, and I will add you, and I will be sharing with you. I will be sharing this presentation with you, guys. Please create the account before tomorrow. So please make sure that you just spend some time and create the account and subscription. You're most welcome, Atif, and see you tomorrow.